Hey, what's up, fake nerds? I'm Sparks Witty. This is Ryan Eliopoulos. That's Brandon T. McClure. Welcome to Shark Week. We're going to be talking about great whites, hammerheads, all the little nursing sharks. We're going to get into all of it. The sand tiger sharks. We're going to go diving on this special. I hope you're ready. Ben's not here because he got eaten. All right, let's go.
I love whale sharks. They're like the size of whales, but they're sharks.
Nah, but in all seriousness, we're here and we're going to talk about Paper Girls and the comic versus the show. And we're just happy to be back for a regular episode. There's a bunch of news, but no Comic-Con news. You want to check out the Comic-Con news, go check out our special, which Brandon will plug in a second. But we're just talking about all the other news that happened while we've been away.
There's a 3.5 hour Comic-Con podcast.
Enjoy it.
Eat it.
I think I just had a heart attack.
Good. Wake up. Put on a little makeup.
I was in the hospital and my dad was watching TV and there was Shark Week.
Yeah,
every year.
Ads. And The Rock did it?
Yes, The Rock was the MC this year, which they've never had a proper like host between specials kind of thing. So this year it was The Rock.
Fascinating.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Some good specials this year, and I'll be honest, some pretty weak ones.
Yeah, but did the hierarchy of the shark universe change after The Rock was on it?
Did it?
Yes, but not because the shark was on it.
Got it. Okay.
Not because the shark?
Not because of not because The Rock was on it. Sorry. I will say there's this guy who he's got 2 specials this year. And he's a scientist who he goes out of his way for his Shark Week specials to be about sharks that don't get talked about or that might be extinct or that are rarely seen.
That's cool.
And this year he found 3 species of shark that have never been caught on film before.
3.
3. And he was able to find all 3 of them that he was looking for, that's never happened to him before. It was a big win. So really just happy to see that kind of shit because that's where Shark Week shines.
It's nice that years later, we can still do cool shit every single week. That's nice.
Yeah,
that is really cool. I always love hearing Sparks talk about Shark Week.
I love Shark Week. All the smaller scale ones, like the one I just mentioned, have been the better specials this year. A lot of the big ones have just not delivered or been, I have to be honest, badly produced. A lot of bad editing this year, and I'm just kind of floored by it. I follow a few shark scientists who don't show up on Shark Week who kind of are like, hey, this is where Shark Week falls short sometimes. And they do that kind of criticism every time it comes around. And one of them was talking about the fact that they're having trouble getting video editors to do anything that isn't related to great whites. Anyone to pick up jobs that aren't related to great whites. Just not getting people to do it. And I'm like, people just don't want to sit through a bunch of shark footage unless there's great whites in it. And I'm like, that's stupid. There's so many cool sharks that you can look at that don't have to be great whites. This is ridiculous.
That's sharkist.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so let's plug some links because we haven't done a regular episode in quite a while.
Nope.
But we have been quite busy. First, let me just say I'm very sorry that the posting has been so slow in the time between our last episode and now. My dad was in the hospital. My mom has COVID, and now I have COVID. So it's been a time.
Are you the only person who hasn't gotten COVID yet?
Of the fake nerds?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Where's Wood?
Knock, 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 knock.
There's Wood behind this image of the Paper Girls. Trust me.
I was so upset, and then the day I got it, Ben was like, "I'm negative. See ya, bitches," and he just blasted off to Europe.
I really sure hope he's negative.
I think we all have the same thought.
I'm positive one day, negative the next. Let's immediately go. I hope he's actually negative.
He's really very lucky they don't.
I wasn't going to say anything.
What'd you say, Sparks?
I said I'm glad Ryan said something because I wasn't going to say anything.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm happy he gets to do his trip.
Hell yeah.
Me too.
Happy he gets a vacation. He deserves it.
Absolutely.
He's very lucky that you don't need 2 negative tests anymore to go anywhere.
Not in 2022, baby. I almost said 2021.
Okay, but we did put up a lot of stuff, and so let's go through some of it. I'll plug some of my personal stuff. There was a lot of stuff that went up for me for Screen Rant. I have been really spacing on my job real quickly. My editors know I'm taking a bit of a leave because of everything going on. But there are some stuff in Screen Rant, some new stuff if you're interested, some MCU stuff, some I think there's a Taika Waititi list that went up. So stuff like that you could check out if you'd like. A Harley Quinn list, because Harley Quinn. The Harley Quinn season 3 trailer is not in our news because the show came out.
Show's out. Yep.
In the time that we've been gone. But I did put up, if it's been so long, it's 2020 was when season 2 came out. So I was like, here's a list of 10 things you may have forgotten from the first 2 seasons.
Right.
So check that out if you'd like. There's also a revisiting the Infinity Saga. Only one. So just very behind, but like I did, it's called If He Be Worthy, and it is about the moment where Thor becomes worthy again in the first Thor movie. The moment when he's dying and you hear Odin's whisper and the destroyer just shoots up in the sky. I freaking love that moment. So I wrote about that. Really like that movie. And part of it was because I was hating the revisionist history that was going on. Like, oh, remember when Thor was such a great movie and Thor Love and Thunder is such a crap movie? I'm like, guys, shut up. You weren't there. I was there. In the trenches. And then Grayson Live. Ben is not here to plug it, but the 6 episodes that he put up of Ben Magnan and Grayson Live collaboration of Super Mario 3D World are there. I didn't put them up individually. I put the playlist in the description, so you can check that out. Because like that was a nightmare. That would be a nightmare listening all of those. But yeah, so 6 episodes for you guys. If you guys haven't been catching up, it's there. Now for our stuff. As Sparks said, there is as Sparks and Ryan said, actually, there's a 3.5-hour episode where we discussed Comic-Con news. So all the news from Comic-Con, all the big news from Comic-Con that came out. We did put up a special for that. That both is now audio and video. You can find both of those links below. We just break down everything all the cool stuff that they did.
Good conversations.
Agreed. Mike's Impossible Movie Trivia Challenge. That was something we did in lieu of an episode 2 weeks ago for How to Train Your Dragon. Mike Patola came back. We love him. We had a great time. That's audio and video as well. You can check that out. That's linked below if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. Great time.
Mm-hmm.
We have a few Fake Nerds watches. So the final part of Stranger Things, Strange New Worlds, The Boys, and Miss Marvel all came up in the time between this episode and the last.
Nice.
If you haven't watched those episodes at this point, go ahead. We had a great time talking about Miss Marvel. We had a great time talking about The Boys. The Boys is great. Strange New Worlds, all of them fun. Check them out.
Yeah, please, if you go check out our Strange New Worlds if you're watching the show, because it's one of my favorites of the year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Cool. I'm excited.
It's a good show.
Good TV is good TV.
Basement Arcade Pause Menu had an episode. Ben, once again, can't plug it, but it was with he talked about Kingdom Hearts with Alyssa Roca. That is both audio and video. And he says something on that episode. I needed something to listen to while I was driving home because I had just gotten the news that my dad was in the hospital. So I decided to listen to that. I didn't understand any of it. I just needed something. I just needed noise.
Sure.
He says he says something in that episode that you would have had to torture me to get out of. He's like, when we were kids at Disneyland, we would run up to Cinderella with fake swords and pretend to be the Three Musketeers. And I'm like, dude.
When he's a kid.
You're a cute kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing I understood of that episode, which makes me believe it was a good episode, a good discussion of Kingdom Hearts.
That was a good episode.
And Mortal Kombat X Part 4 is
back at it, baby.
Part 4. That's only video. What happened in that episode? It's the Combat Kids, right?
The episode before was the Combat Kids. This is where they're trying to stop Quan Chi because Quan Chi's like on the cusp of bringing Shinnok back, and
Ambulance.
Scorpion doesn't see the full picture, so like he has his grudge out with Sub-Zero.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
You can talk to him, and then they have a miscommunication. You're like, we're actually friends.
Yeah. That's why the episode is titled "Old Grudges Die Hard."
Ooh.
We recorded those quite a while ago, but I'm happy to see them out.
Yeah.
So yeah, part 4 is up if you guys want to check that out, and that are all the links that you can find in the description.
One more part coming soon.
It's only 5 episodes?
It's only 5.
All right.
Parts.
It's like half the length of that first game. That's true. That's right.
Only 5 parts.
Hopefully we can do not XL 11 soon.
Hell yeah, baby.
All right, so that's all the links. You can check them out. We worked really hard on those. We're really proud of a lot of those, so you can check them out if you are interested. Who wants to go first? There, I guess 3 weeks.
I'll go first because I don't have a lot. Well, I mean, I have a lot, but I don't have a lot in 3 weeks. Because my job is kicking my ass, y'all. But you know what? It's okay because when you make money, it all works out.
Just
Cash, money everywhere, all day, every day. But I did learn real quick. Now I'm a server. You get taxed on your tips, so I can't be spending all my tips because when I do my taxes, I'm gonna get hit really hard, super hard. So I'm glad they told me that before I start just throwing my money away. Fun fact, servers, don't spend all your tip money.
That's rough.
It is rough, but that's okay. I'm still making fun. So it's been 3 weeks. I spent about a week and a half consuming, and I'm not joking, pretty much everything that Resident Evil has ever had to offer me.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't rewatch were the Paul Thomas Anderson movies.
We'll do that later.
Because one, we'll do that later, and two,
not Paul Thomas Anderson.
Was that?
Not Paul Thomas Anderson.
Sorry, Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah.
Sorry, the not as critically acclaimed Oscar-winning director. That'd be a movie.
That's a very different movie.
Yeah. Besides that first Resident Evil movie, I would say, especially after revisiting the franchise, none of those movies are Resident Evil movies. They just have stuff from the games. They are so far from what I would want a Resident Evil movie to be, especially now as I'm an adult and I'll revisit everything. I'm like, wow, they are so far removed from those games, except for, hey, look who's here. It's that character. So 2 Resident Evil things have come out in the last year that I did not watch. First was the Netflix show, which just came out recently. And there was Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which came out last year. Welcome to Raccoon City is directed by Johan Roberts, who did 47 Meters Down and Strangers Pray at Night sequel.
Oh, shit. I love that sequel.
Yeah. So I didn't watch Welcome to Raccoon City immediately because I heard really, really bad things. And then, I was in my Resident Evil mood. So I decided to give it a watch. I really, really like it. I'm not going to say it's a good movie. It's very much, and this is going to be a bad comparison, but it's the closest one I can think of. We recently watched The Princess. And The Princess is a movie that is incredible, except for the script. And that's pretty much what happens in Welcome to Raccoon City. The script's pretty bad. When people are talking, it's pretty generic. None of the characters are like the characters from the games. They certainly look more like them, and there are character aspects, but like they might as well just be original characters, except for 1 or 2. But besides the script being not as bad as The Princess, but like it's definitely the weakest quality, that movie it's shot like a John Carpenter movie. It's scored like a John Carpenter movie. It has the feel and atmosphere of a John Carpenter movie. There's specifically the framing devices. It tells you what time of night it is. It says, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. That's directly lifted from Prince of Darkness, and has the exact same font from Prince of Darkness too. So like, I immediately know this guy is doing Carpenter on purpose, right? And the atmosphere, the look, it's shot really well for being a low budget movie. And up until the halfway point of the movie, I wasn't sure if they were in on the joke on how campy this movie is. Because like it's bad, but in a fun way. Like in the way I'd want Resident Evil to be, right? But I wasn't sure if he knew what he was doing. And then halfway through the movie, the most incredible needle drop comedy moment happens that I've ever experienced in a movie. And I'm not exaggerating. I've watched this scene 25 times on YouTube now. I'm not joking. It made me laugh so effing hard. And I'm like, no, this guy knows exactly what movie he's making. And that made me flip the script on it. And then the last half of the movie, I enjoyed so much while still having a weak script. But all the zombie stuff is great. All the action is great. It's shot so well. Neil McDonough, I think that's his name. He's been in a bunch of stuff, like the blonde guy from Damien Dark. That guy. He plays the bad guy, and he is chewing the scenery up so hard. He's so full.
He's good at that.
Yeah, he is so good. And like when the movie is working, for me, I am loving it. Again, I'm not going to call it a good movie, but for someone who appreciates camp, and I wanted a more traditional Resident Evil movie, this is the movie everyone has been waiting for. But again, the fans are so fickle, and they're like, "This isn't Resident Evil. Resident Evil has never been great, y'all. It's always been poorly written."
Because Resident Evil is a B movie franchise.
Absolutely, dude. That first game, like, you've played it only a little bit, but like, it is so poorly written. It's like, wow, you almost became a Jill sandwich because she got crushed. Like, the absolute worst dialogue, and like the movie's doing that, so it's giving you what you want. So I can't get mad at it too hard. But I really enjoyed it, and I've been thinking about it so much, and I'm like, I must really like this movie if I've been thinking about it like 2 weeks later.
Oh yeah.
And that's really great. I love that. So after I did that,
God, I want to watch it now.
I will watch it with you for real.
Yeah. We're planning to do a whole Resident Evil.
Yeah. I will revisit all this stuff for the future as well. So after I did that, I wanted to watch Netflix's Resident Evil, which they didn't say, but it's a sequel to the games because Albert Wesker is the main star of that franchise, or of the series on Netflix, right? So I needed to remember what happened to Albert Wesker. So I watched Let's Plays for Resident Evils 4, 5, and 6. Those are all games I played, except I never beat 6 because it's bad, and it's truly bad now that I've like watched all the way through. But like Resident Evil 5, spoilers for a 14-year-old game, Albert Wesker gets killed by Chris Redfield in a volcano fight, like the Northman. The end of Resident Evil 5 takes place in a volcano, and you fight superpowered Wesker, and he gets thrown into the lava, Terminator style. So him showing up in the future, and they acknowledge, but Albert Wesker died in 2009. And I'm like, oh my God, this is canon. This is canon to the games, while still being it's an entirely new thing. Well, remaking Resident Evil 1 with the Umbrella Corporation having a city and getting it taken over and like destroyed and stuff. So it's part remake, part sequel, while also being an original story. It takes place 30 years in the future with an entirely different story. I think the show is incredible. It's very CW. It's more CW than I gave it credit for. Not credit for, than I thought it was going to be. It's very young adult, which I don't think anyone expected. It's very young adult drama stuff with the kids, because there's the present timeline with the kids of Wesker, and then there's a future timeline where the entire world's an apocalypse. I love both aspects of the show. I think it's awesome. I think the action's really good. Lance Reddick as Wesker rules, and without spoilers, he's able to give multiple different types of performances throughout the decades of Resident Evil that are so fun to see. If you like Resident Evil and you like the vibe of evil corporations ruining the world for profit, like Weyland Yutani, this is maybe the best Resident Evil has ever done at doing that. Because half the show is just about, yeah, we know we destroyed the world before, but what if we tried again and didn't, though, for money? And I had so much fun with it. I had such a good time. I think the effects are pretty good. It ends on a kind of cliffhanger where, like, if you don't get a second season, I'm gonna be really pissed, because like you deliberately ended the season in a way that's like, we have to continue, because otherwise why would you end it like this? So I really hope it gets a second season. I really, really enjoyed it. Resident Evil 6 is still the worst thing Resident Evil has ever made, I think.
Did you watch Resident Evil Infinite Darkness?
That was next on my list, my friend. Oh, cool. I watched the first episode of Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. I thought it was boring as shit. As someone who is very familiar,
this is the animated.
The animated, yeah. That came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
This takes place between Resident Evil 4 and 5. So I found the animations to be pretty stiff. I found the characterization to be kind of boring. The thing about Resident Evil, the games, are the characters are super archetypal, and like Leon is a tough guy who no nonsense, and Jill is like I found it to be incredibly boring, especially after watching all the games, the movie, the new series. I found it to be the thing that's actually from the games brought into an animated show to be the worst of them. Mm-hmm. I found it to be incredibly boring. Gotcha. And that was only the first episode. But I also found the animations like, oh, this looks like PS3 kind of animation. So I probably won't go back to that. But yeah, I've just been so ingrained. There's a guy named Completionist on YouTube. Ben's talked about him a bunch. I love him. He completes games 100% of the way. So games the only Resident Evil game I have not played was Resident Evil Code Veronica. And apparently that's also not great either. So I'm glad I didn't watch a whole Let's Play of that. I just watched a 30-minute video on it. The lore of Resident Evil is so stupid. It's so fun. I find it really funny that the Resident Evil fandom has such a tight grasp on what they think is so important about Resident Evil,
especially with Resident Evil fandom being like Resident Evil games and all that fandom, and the Anderson films fandom.
And they are completely different, but at the same time, like the thing that Anderson does get is they are dumb fun, And those movies are dumb fun. But they really lack a lot of the story structure I like from the games. But now that we 20 years of Resident Evil stuff and like the games are back and they're better than ever, we're remaking 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm like, it is such a good time to be a Resident Evil fan. People think like, man, on the YouTube comments, like, man, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm like, is Welcome to Raccoon City the worst thing you've ever seen, or is the Netflix show the worst thing you've ever seen? Because you're saying they're both the worst things you've ever seen. And I'm like, you guys just are never satisfied. I don't know how you can be satisfied when this is a franchise where Chris Redfield punches a rock in a volcano to kill Albert Wesker. He literally punches a boulder that's bigger than he is, and it breaks into a million pieces. And I'm like, y'all, this is stupid shit. Like, this isn't high art. And it's just been really fun and reflective to be like, Resident Evil fans need to tone it down. They're not watching Spielberg movies here. They're watching stupid zombie products.
It's interesting because this happens to a lot of fandoms. They kind of like hold this frankly dumb franchise in this high esteem, and you see it a lot with like Star Wars. Not to like call anything dumb, because like everything's got value, but like the thing of like their memory of the thing is almost so different than what it is, because maybe they didn't go back and revisit it. Like, maybe they haven't like played the games in years, and they're like, I remember this game being really great. I remember this and this happened, and they don't necessarily remember the finer details of the more stupider aspects. I mean, that's only still an explanation I could come up with out of my butt.
That is 100% valid. And again, like me calling Resident Evil the franchise like stupid and dumb, that's not an insult. Like, when I mean that, I mean they are not taking themselves seriously. They know what product they're making. They are about bioorganic monsters created from an evil corporation. Like, they're not. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which is sometimes what happens in other aspects of the franchise. I'm like, guys, it's so silly. It's such a silly thing.
It wasn't that long ago that the entire internet was thirsting after a monster in Resident Evil.
Yeah, that was just that was last year, actually. Yeah, Lady Misc, who was coming to DLC as a playable character in the update. But I revitalized like how much I love Resident Evil, and like I think the stuff that's come out recently is the best stuff that it's ever come out. And I just think it's funny that fans are like so against it. Because I think just like people, camp is very subjective, and like I understand people not liking camp, but I find it really hard to believe that you've played all the Resident Evil games and then come to one of these things and you're like, oh, this isn't representative of the games. I'm like, y'all, those games are fucking stupid.
Sure.
Stupid. Oh my God. But I've loved it. I had such a great time, Resident Evil. That Resident Evil 8 DLC, which is called like the end of Rose Apocalypse, which takes place in the future with the apocalypse of the daughter of the main character, who's a monster man. Thrilled about it. So excited.
I think there's also an amount, and I might be off base, but I think this exists in the fandom. I don't think it's the predominant reason this is happening, but where you don't attribute the campiness to purposeful, you attribute the campiness to old age.
Yes.
When you get to a certain and so when you get to your remake thing, because I'm thinking of, this is a weird example, but I'm thinking of the Evil Dead remake, because when the Evil Dead remake came out, there's an amount of like, and it did this. You want it to elevate the horror of it and make it more like modern level scary, because like original Evil Dead wasn't campy in the way that Sam Raimi makes the later stuff campy. But it feels campy by age.
Yes.
And so you want something to elevate that horror now. And I think there is an amount of the Resident Evil fandom that comes to it thinking, this is not inherent to the tone, this is inherent to the time. And I want something that's Resident Evil modern scary. And if you're chasing that, you're going to be disappointed.
That's actually a very astute point. Yeah.
I don't think that's the bulk of the fandom, but I do think that's a chunk of it, especially like younger audiences that don't believe that camp is part of it. It's just part of age.
Yeah. Like looking, I'm gonna move on to my next thing soon, but like Resident Evil 7 and 8 and Resident Evil remakes 2 and 3, which those have all come out in the last 4 years, right? Those are all the quote unquote best written, because like they are more modern sensibilities, but like the silliness and the nonsense is still there. It never went away. It is still hella goofy. Like the hardcore lore that each game just extrapolates and goes heavier and heavier. Like Resident Evil 8 takes place in Europe, like far away connected from the Resident Evil franchise. But by the time you get to the end of that game, you realize literally everything is connected. It's always been connected. And that's what's so fun about the franchise. And I'm really excited. It's like, I'm also bummed because Raccoon City did not do well. The Netflix show I'm sure it's doing fine, but like people don't seem to like it. I really like it. So like I'm just worried that like these next iterations are just gonna get left behind, and then we're gonna have to wait for the next iterations. Like, man, like we got it right this time though.
Right, because these things were doing things correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While also still being different enough. And again, like that.
Oh yeah, nope, sorry, this is the wrong Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Good. I was looking Resident Evil on Rotten Tomatoes real quickly.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I've just been so into Resident Evil. I'm excited to be back in that universe. The next thing I did, I watched a season of a show called The Bear, which is on FX and Hulu.
Nice.
And The Bear is probably gonna win a bunch of awards, y'all. The Bear is a drama about a man whose brother dies, and his brother leaves the restaurant he works at in his will. So the world's most famous chef, he comes to work at his dead brother's sandwich shop in Chicago. And as someone who's worked in the restaurant industry my entire life, it is the most real shit I've ever seen in a television show. The drama is so real because I've experienced it, but also it's so well acted, it's so well shot. There's one episode 7, that is an entire one shot from the beginning of a day to the end of a shift. Or not end of a shift, but like basically 1 hour of like the busiest day these people have ever worked. One of the new ladies makes a mistake, and she, you can do DoorDash and Grubhub and stuff like that. She accidentally leaves the pre-orders open on the thing, which they're never supposed to do. So when they enter the restaurant at 8 a.m., they have like 200 orders they have to do before they open. So it is a mad dash to get all the shit done. And it is a beautiful, like 30 minute one shot of some of the most well acted, well choreographed stuff, handling like stuff in a small kitchen, the camera work and the acting. And I'm like, I just was watching a one act play at this point. It's so incredible. Yeah. What's up, Cookie? It is a good show.
Cookie real quickly says, can't say but hello, gentlemen. Hope all is well. No. Such a good show, Ryan.
Yeah. It's only 8 episodes, and like there's a celebrity cameo who shows up for like 5 seconds, but it's like the most impactful cameo that I've seen in recent memory of like a big time actor showing up to be like the small part. And by the end of that show, episode 8, there's like a revelation that just had me bawling, crying, like weeping, and like I had like a bucket like to hold all the water. I was crying. It was insane. Like it was unexpected because like the show's been emotional and dramatic, but it wasn't like crying, but it happens at the end. And I'm like, and the show's already been renewed for season 2. It's so well deserved. The main guy, I forget his name, but he was in Shameless. He's one of the kids in Shameless.
Oh yeah.
And he is so phenomenal. Like he is
good.
He's and like watching a bunch of interviews, like he actually prepared and he trained at a bunch of kitchens and restaurants for like months at a time. Cause like the most impressive thing about the show is everyone's actually cooking and they're actually dicing, and like it looks like they're chefs. They're doing real work.
Jeremy Allen White.
Thank you. That dude, like guaranteed he's getting nominated for an Emmy like this year. Like he is exceptional.
Yeah,
and like
he and Cal Kestis, that actor.
Yes.
The brothers on Shameless. Their whole, like, those two actors were so clear up and coming from Shameless.
Cameron Monaghan?
Both of them being really excellent on that show, and especially playing off each other because they're around the same age brothers. Really great.
Yeah, I Shameless is good. But like, God, The Bear, like I was so sad that it was over. I'm so glad I got renewed because it is such a well crafted product. And again, this like there's not many shows that like show like how real like being in a kitchen is, and like how like being a manager is, and like because it's like boring shit. Like no one like thinks about like kitchen work, but like someone who just worked like a 10-hour shift on Saturday, y'all, I'm telling y'all, there's no more chaos than being in a kitchen when tickets just keep coming, they keep coming, and you're making 15 burgers at once, and you're just like, ugh! It's like it's so well done. It's so tense. And it's just like these people are just making sandwiches, and I'm like, man, like
it remains strongly, in my opinion, the little socialist that I am, that restaurant workers should be making higher wage than they are, because their jobs are far more intensive than higher wage jobs in other positions.
Very true. Both are very hot in the kitchen. Let me tell you. So I did that.
Work harder. Work harder.
Yeah. So Resident Evil, The Bear, and then the last thing I did, it's the only game I've really been playing the last couple of weeks, is Multiverses. The beta's back.
Gonna talk about
So Multiverses is, so first of all, it has at one time on Steam 150,000 concurrent players. That's not including console players. So people are estimating between 250 and 300,000 people are playing this game at the same time. That is the most concurrent players of people have been playing a fighting game in history. So this is the most like high profile fighting game ever made, and it's only in beta right now. It's because it's an incredible game. It's just the gameplay. It's so good. Every character is so well crafted. There's so much personality. The 2v2 system is incredible because there's so many different combos you can do with different characters. It's just like it's phenomenally made, and like it's a free to play game. And as part of me, like, would I rather this be a $60 product where I just have like 30 characters, or is this something that I would like to spend my time earning characters, over time? And now that I'm here, I much prefer it being the Fortnite model, because that will keep me playing it for a lot longer than it was just a traditional fighting game.
And importantly, like, my favorite thing about it is you will never have to pay to pay money to unlock a character.
Yeah.
You earn gold currency by playing the game, and that gold currency unlocks characters. Also, they're going to rotate every few months or seasonally who is freely available and who isn't, so that you can try characters without having to necessarily use your earned currency to unlock them and see if you like them. And if you don't have to. And I think that's also a smart model. It pissed me off at first because they locked a character and I wasn't expecting it that I was using, and I was like, oh, no, I have to get this one.
Same, yeah.
Which was Harley. They locked Harley Quinn on me. But outside of that, I do think it's very smart because they're trying to give you every avenue to try these characters out. And you can do that in the practice lab as well. You can try any character, and you could try them in any costume. The costumes and alternate variants do cost money, either in the sense that you have to buy them separately, or you have to buy the battle pass for the season to unlock them,
which is standard in
Fortnite.
free to play games at this point.
But not like, you still have to buy, like, you have to buy character models or buy them through the battle pass in Fortnite. And here it's like, you can unlock a character just by playing the game, and that's fine. It's everything else cosmetically, but you can get the character. And I think that's the most important part that I value about the free to play system, is that they kept that part free to play.
Yeah, there are tons of free to play games out there that I think are out just to get your money. And this is a game where it's like, you really don't have to spend money. You got to play the game a lot to unlock all the characters, but like, they give you the option either way. And the thing that is most like incredible about the game is every single character is viable as a main. Because like, you get daily quests and weekly quests, like, oh, play as an assassin class, play as a mage, play as a support class, right? And there's some characters that I haven't really tried a lot, and then I'll have to try them for these missions, and it turns out they're awesome. Every character, even though I don't like playing as them, every character can be the best character in the game. They just added LeBron James, the real person basketballer, and he might be like the best character in the game for real. He has a ball, like a dribbling move. He can throw the ball and like pass to friends and slam dunk. And I'm like, LeBron James is one of the best fighting game characters of all time. What is happening? Like, you've told me stuff like characters are happening in the future. Like, they have plans for like years in the future. And like all the Rick and Morty's getting attitude. They just added the "show me what you got" stage to the game. I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
I'm just so impressed with this game. And then like, I play it at least like an hour every day just so I can do some of these missions. Because like, every little bit of progress helps. Unlocking a new character, unlocking a new skin, this and that. Like, they always give you a reason to want to play it.
Right.
And this is the beta. The game's not even out yet. So like, when the game is out, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna buy every skin, just like Fortnite. Like, when you give me something good, I want to give you money.
Yeah.
So like, I already know, like, I've seen like a leak of the 1940s like Superman skin, or like 1939 skin or whatever. I'm like, I'm definitely buying that Superman skin.
And we talked a bit about like leak characters that were pretty likely, and like, this was back before Iron Giant and LeBron came, and they were on that list. And so I'm like, that list is probably very accurate, which means Godzilla's on his way, which I 100% believe.
Iron Giant is like half the
Iron
screen.
Giant work, and he takes up half the screen.
He's huge.
So Godzilla is certainly on the way. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait to see how they adapt the characters that are still coming and integrate them. But everything plays so well, and the way that characters interact with each other. I didn't tell you, but I bought the announcer voice pack for Bugs because I wanted it, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun replacing the announcer and just having Bugs talk me through the entire game.
Yeah.
And I love that you could do that with all the characters. It's just a good game. I can't wait for you to get in on it, Brandon.
It's
honestly.
free. It's free,
I know it's not normal your type of gameplay, but I really want you to jump in.
Look, I am stranded in Monterey with no console.
No, I know.
If I would have gotten it by now.
hey, there's a character who can turn into a ball, and you can throw the ball like Knockout City. So if you really just want to play Knockout City in this game, you can also do that.
Yeah,
there you go.
Because
Ben, enjoy your vacation, bro. Get out of here. What are you doing?
Hello, Ben. Real quickly, Ben says, "Hi guys, good to see you, Ben. Get the hell out of here."
From Jolly Good England.
If I had known I was going to be up here this long, I would have
brought your console.
Would have brought my console, but
sure, I get it. Yeah,
it's not going anywhere.
It's a you can just put it on whenever you want. It's a free game, so when you're ready to hop in and try it out. And another thing I like about it, like Ryan and I both are the same. We like playing against players. But if you want to just play against bots, either by yourself or with friends, you can do that, and it counts towards your progress, which is really important. They don't make that so like you can play against bots if you're more comfortable with that, or if you're trying to learn a character or trying to do a specific thing to accomplish one of the missions to earn the in-game currency. You can do that, and they count it. They count it towards your progress. They don't say, oh, this doesn't count because you're fighting NPCs.
Yeah.
They let that be a play lab where you can still work on bettering yourself with the characters and stuff, and that counts for you, which I think is great.
It's very player friendly, and the company who made it, it's called Player First Games, and like it really feels like that. Like they're doing everything in their power, despite it being a free to play game, to give you as much like access to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And like again, every character is so good. I started as like a Finn from Adventure Time, and then like I started to do Shaggy a lot, and then I had a quest to play as like Superman, and I was like, okay, I'll play Superman, and then I played like 50 matches of Superman in a row, and now Superman is my main. And when I'm good, when I'm on as Superman, it's destructive. Yeah. Man, it is destructive. And like no other character gives me that like feeling. Because like in Smash Bros, I also play as the big characters like Ganondorf and Bowser. So I just like big beefy boys,
which is
triple Bs,
which is the same level I found myself at with the Iron Giant, because I'm absolutely devastated.
Bro, yeah,
Iron
Giant. Iron Giant like takes up so much space, and like you'll get hit a lot, but if you're able to dish out that damage, like you can't get touched. It's crazy. Yeah, I think the game looks so good. Like they're gonna give out like a new character almost like once a month or every 2 months, and I'm like, that will keep me again just like.
Well, Fortnite. And like we don't know what the first season battle pass will really have.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see what that's gonna look like, because the preseason battle pass has 3 character variants in it. It's it's Finn in the pajamas, Shagworthy, and Cake.
Yeah.
So we'll see who else comes.
I'm so close. I'm like level 14. I'm 1 away.
Yeah.
Almost there.
It's gonna be great. I'm excited for Brandon to check it out. I'm excited to do more with it. It's gonna be the hot game for a while.
Oh yeah. I'm sure I did other stuff, but like none of it was probably as important or anything. So yeah.
Real quick.
Versus and the Bear and Resident Evil, all of it.
Yeah.
Real quick, Sparks. Ben still in the chat. I am enjoying. We figured you were. We weren't serious. Wanted to say hi before I went to sleep. Yes. Go to sleep. Good night, sir.
Good night, Mr. Boy.
And then Second Street Marvel says, I can't remember how I found this channel. Neither can I.
I'll tell you. You typed in super cool nerd boys, and then you found this channel. We're the First Street Marvel.
But happy you found us, I guess.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Sparks? Yeah, I'm going to talk about some stuff. I meant to touch on this one last time we did a regular episode, but I forgot. And it's Batman Unburied. I listened to the rest of that podcast, and I pretty much hold to all my criticism I laid out the first time and my praise, except more so. Unfortunately, I'm really sad to say that Winston Duke's Batman voice does absolutely not work for me. But his Bruce Wayne is excellent. He made choices that as just an audio program are not good. And when he does his Batman voice, he's usually quieter than everybody else on the show. And it's just not working. Sadly. Batman Unburied is coming back for a second season. I think we talked about that at some point in the news. They do a pretty good job wrapping up the story that they're telling. I think there's still good performances around, and it's an interesting idea. Honestly, I was more in love with the first half, where we got a lot of the Lance Reddick as Thomas Wayne stuff.
Ooh, double Lance Reddick week.
Yeah, because he was Bruce was in an illusion where his parents were still alive, kind of thing. And honestly, that whole side of the story was far more enjoyable than kind of where the second half ended up taking us. So they do some cool stuff. I think that it still has like some really bad, cheap dialogue that just is like, oh, this doesn't work. And like Winston Duke's cool. Hassan Minaj is cool. He's playing the Riddler.
That's right, yeah.
There's a lot of great. The ladies are cool. Poison Ivy shows up in this, and she's great. But like, everybody is weaker than Sam Witwer. And Sam Witwer just knows what he's doing as a voice actor. And
Who's he again?
he is the Harvester.
Oh, the new character.
And he's just superior in his performance than everyone else, and unfortunately not in a lot of the second half. And
it helps
when he shows up, he just like puts everybody to shame with what he's doing.
It helps that he's a voice actor too, I bet.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like he elevates bad material to quite a degree, and so it's rough. And like originally I was thinking like, this was the thing, is when I'd gotten through the first half of Batman Unburied, I said, oh, if I saw an animated project with these voices, I'd be like, yeah, cool. And I'm at the end of this and I'm like, I really just want Sam Witwer in a Batman project. And maybe if someone let Winston Duke do a different Batman voice, because it's too much quiet Christian Bale.
Oh.
And it just doesn't work. And I'm like, I think Winston Duke could be a great Batman. He needs a different Batman voice. His Bruce Wayne voice is great. His Batman voice is not good. And they do weird things where like he's literally in a room with Barbara, who knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman, but he's still talking like Batman in his Batman voice. And I'm like, I get that this means you're in the costume.
Can you give me your best
Winston Duke Batman impression?
Yeah, give me your best. Well, because I'm trying to imagine.
I'm trying to think of like a line from it, but
you
like
said Christian Bale, but like softer. So it's like soft.
So it's quiet. So it's just quiet. It's almost like he's mumbling it, and that can be an audio level thing, but it sounds like his performance where he like can't. He doesn't want to push it to yelling, but because he's doing the gruffness, it's staying low. Like, computer, I need to look into the like. It's like too close to the.
Have you seen the Pete Holmes Batman? The Pete Holmes Batman.
Yeah. So it's not quite there.
Yeah.
And like Winston Duke has the thing is like Winston Duke has a strong voice.
Yeah.
And so him choking it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I feel like he would have done better to go the Kevin Conroy route, where he just like makes a different force behind his voice rather than like
he just gruffs it up a little bit. Yeah.
Rather than like going the Christian Bale route. It just doesn't it doesn't land. Or something even more like Pattinson's.
The Pattinson's is like I think like the perfect one, really.
It sounds like the same problem we had with What If.
Yeah, like a lack of vocal direction. I do feel that.
Because when What If had when the actors in What If were actual voice actors, they outshined the ones who weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There is a beautiful moment where Bruce sends himself kind of back into the illusion where his parents are alive. So it's Lance Reddick and his mom again. And the whole reason why he like kind of stumbled into this situation is because he's punishing himself because he forgot for the first time in his life he's dating the reporter that Bruce dates,
Vicky Vale.
Thank you. He's dating Vicky Vale, and he's having such a good time that for the first time ever since his parents died, he forgot the anniversary of their death.
Oh,
and that throws Bruce like completely off kilter. And he goes back into the illusion and has his parents basically like give their blessing for him to be Batman, but not to carry
the guilt.
Basically to say like, you don't need to be Batman because of us.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds okay.
And you don't need to think of us. And like that part of the story is really good. And everything else in the story is like, oh, okay, not the best written stuff here. Alrighty. Anyway, those are my thoughts on it.
It's kind of an expanded version of Batman Mask of the Phantasm when he is standing at the grave and he's like, I didn't expect to be happy.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, and I think that's the thing is like it's hurt by taking a lot of cues from just a lot of other better written Batman stories. Mm-hmm. And its most interesting things that are different, it doesn't spend enough time with. And I wish it utilized I cannot stress enough that I think when Winston Duke is being Bruce Wayne, I'm so enraptured with him and I love it. And I would love to just see him take it on, but his Batman voice just never works for me. And I wish that he had someone guide him to a different interpretation.
What's the Bruce Wayne Batman ratio? Like how much is there?
There's definitely more Bruce Wayne than Batman.
Okay, then I might still check it out.
Yeah. Smartly, there is far less. There is more Batman in the second half, which is why it's more prominent to me. And where we get into the scenes where I'm like, I don't understand why we're using the Batman voice here. You are only talking to a person who knows you're Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Like, just use your Bruce Wayne voice. It sounds far better.
I know it's a different universe, but now that you've jumped into the Superman or superhero podcast realm, you should check out the Wolverine one.
Oh, I want to. Yeah, it's
that's
like
legitimately incredible.
Long in the tooth on my list.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good superhero podcasts out there. The reason I chased this one is because I'm like, I
Winston
really
Duke
like Winston Duke, and I really wanted to hear what he did with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I love Sam Witwer, and I was listening to Sam Witwer do an interview about it.
Kenobi.
And Winston Duke has the potential to be such a great Batman. Just needs a different voice. That's really when you get to the end of it. That's it. I want to talk about Hunter x Hunter. I am over 100 episodes into that anime. That anime is great.
That's the Yu Yu Hakusho creator.
Yes. Hunter x Hunter recently announced to be returning for new chapters soon. Now I have something very specific I want to say about it, which is that because I've been watching it and I've been mulling over these thoughts, and it's not just that our two main characters are allowed to fail at things or lose fights. It's that the concept of the world is different from how most shonen do it, in the sense that they're very talented and very strong, especially for their age, and most characters recognize that about them. But power scaling is seen in like, and they even show this at one point. They have someone explain to them that like, your power is here, like how strong you are is in this range, and the enemies you're concerned with are in this range. But that means that them on their worst day is not better than you on your best day. And so it's not like, oh, I become the strongest and therefore I'm stronger than all these people regardless. And then, oh no, here's an enemy who's stronger. Oh no, we got to like get our level up to here.
It's not Dragon Ball.
It's that you're in the range, and you just have to push yourself into the range and be strategic and know what you're doing and learn about your opponent and try to outmaneuver them to put them into their best case for their worst case for your best case.
It's a whole show of Gohans.
Sort of, but I mean, like, even Gohan, like, even Dragon Ball really reduces it down to, like, are you stronger than X? Yes, yeah. I transformed, therefore I am.
Yeah.
And it's very much in that range rather than, like, you know, this idea of, if I just do this the right way, I can beat an opponent who is arguably much stronger than me. Mm-hmm. And Hunter x Hunter is just very good at executing on that idea, and with that core idea, leaving the world to feel like, yes, these boys are very strong. It's very impressive. They will grow very quickly. However, there are plenty of other people, and have been for forever, who are stronger than them still. It's not like they are leading the force of the world of like, oh, and they are the strongest and the best until the enemy shows up, and then they have to get even stronger, and then there's nobody else that can, like, there are plenty of people who they are encountering all the time who are constantly showing them, no, we're still learning. We're still up, and you still have a lot to learn. And the world always feels like it's still full of those people, even as they are progressing and getting stronger. And I think the show just executes on that really well.
That's cool.
That being said, the longest arc of the anime is the arc I'm in now, and they do this thing where they wanted to create a lot of diverse designs, and that's okay, but they get kind of sloppy. What it is, very briefly, these things called chimera ants can eat different animals, and then when they reproduce with certain traits attached to those animals.
Chimera, that's a good name for them.
So the chimera ants are the villains of this plot.
Are they ants?
They started that way. And so when you get the first generation of them, there's a lot of like that a human, but it's still mostly like got ant features and things. But we get to a point where like most of these ants now just look like I'm a lion that can walk on my back feet and wear clothes, or I'm I am a butterfly man, and there's nothing else ant attached to it, though they are birthed by the same ant as the early generations that we first see. And I'm like, there's one that's literally just a penguin, just a talking penguin. And I'm like, there is no ant to this. Like, and also you can't convince me that the ant found every animal on the planet and ate them. Like in the small amount of time we were doing, I've never seen another penguin before. Where did this penguin come from? So it gets a little into like the weeds of, I get you just wanted to make a bunch of animal design bad guys. Mm-hmm. having them based in ants to start with, and then getting so goddamn far away from that visually gets like really, really murky at a certain point. There's literally one that just is a person. It's just a person. Like I know it's anyway. That's my feeling on that. Hunter x Hunter. It's cool. Hey guys, you remember Chainsaw Man? Chainsaw Man.
Look, it's a bug man.
That's the queen.
That's the queen. She's a bug.
That's cool.
Bug lady.
The Chainsaw Man manga is back. Part 2 just started. While we were away, the first 2 chapters are.
I saw a page on Twitter that I'm just like, oh, I gotta read this thing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Part 2 is great. I'm super pleased to report that like the way part 2 is starting, it is just like brand new story. It's in the world of Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is still a thing in this world. This is a brand new start. You could jump into this story and like it benefits you to have familiarity with Chainsaw Man and everything. You certainly should read part 1, but I am glad that it feels like part 1 is a story and it didn't need this next chapter that they're doing, but it is a good new start. I love this fresh new take that we're doing, and it's a strong start, and it feels like a whole new separate thing.
That anime is this year, right?
That anime is this year. There's a new trailer coming out soon.
Oh yeah.
I want to talk about Craig of the Creek. I finally finished season 3, so I'm now in season 4 of Craig of the Creek. Season 3 had this fantastic multi-episode finale, 5 parts of Capture the Flag between one side of the creek and the other side of the creek. Super important, super emotional stuff. Really love that season. All those episodes are fantastic. I specifically want to highlight one thing, though. In this batch of episodes of season 3, Craig of the Creek had an episode where they meet a kid who brought their gerbil to the creek. And early in the episode, the gerbil got killed by a stray cat. Ooh. And they found it, and they go to this kid, and they one of the main 3 of our kids has a pet bird. It is their 37th pet bird. So they have gone through the loss of a pet before, and it's a very good episode about her trying to guide this other kid through their grief for the loss of their first pet, and not being good at it because their concept of grief is different. Mm-hmm. And it's both good in the fact of like showing how grieving is different for different people given circumstances, and also focusing on the loss of a pet for a child. And I don't think I've seen that in a child's cartoon before. And it was a very good episode of her constantly trying to do these things and getting frustrated because the other kid wouldn't let her in, and having to recognize like the way I look at this is not the way you look at this, and finding a different way to be supportive and all that stuff, and all focus on like the grief children go through when they lose a pet that they care about. I just don't see that on children's cartoons a lot, and I was so supremely moved. I was so impressed.
That's like modern cartoons. I mean, it's been happening for a while now, but like tackling extremely real things, and it's like kids need to understand this too, and like we don't need to dumb it down. Like death is a part of life.
And I was just like that. Like it's a 10-minute episode, and I was so impressed with how they wrote the episode to, if you are a child watching this with a pet, this is a super great episode for encountering that grief, or like you understand that grief, or you will understand that grief and seeing that related to you. But even if you don't have a pet, you are still getting that concept of like, when we lose something important, we grieve differently. Mm-hmm. And that's still there too. And I thought they did such a good job of handling it from both those sides that it really floored me. It's one of my favorite episodes I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Hiding children from emotions is not the way to go.
Yeah, it was just Craig of the Creek's a great show, guys, and that episode just blew me out of the water.
Spider-Man freshman year coming soon.
Yeah, super stoked for that. In a similar vein of cartoons, I think Brandon did this too, so he might want to say some stuff. Boys Diabolical. I watched all.
We did this.
They were all good. They were all good.
Good to hear.
I was very impressed. Like that. I don't know what it is about that trailer marketing. It just did not do a good job of giving me insight into what these shorts were going to be like. I think they're all good for the thing they're trying to do. Some moments are weaker than others, but overall, I really enjoy them. I really enjoy the way that they either live in the world or parallel to the world of the boys.
I've watched like half that Homelander episode because of Twitter.
Yeah. I really like it. I think it's very well executed, and I'm glad it's there, because I like once we finished the boys season 3, I really wanted it. Mm-hmm. and it does provide just like this really nice ulterior look, and they're all going for like a different thing of how they're, even though it's in the lens of the world of the boys, they're all going for something specific, and they're like it's one of the most prominent is the laser baby episode. That is a classic Looney Tunes cartoon, 100% all the way from top to bottom. Like it is shot, it is organized that way, it is storyboarded that way, and like it, because it is consistently and completely in that tone. Like there's no dialogue. There's grunts, but there's no dialogue.
There's no dialogue.
So it's like a super old school Looney Tunes cartoon, and I think it's excellent for that. I think they do a great job executing on it. So it's like put through its own lens, existing in the world of the boys, but like very much knowing the thing it's going for, and I think that really works.
There's one episode by Justin Halpern, Rick and Morty.
Justin Roiland.
And it's about this like all the kids who were like all the kids that the parents got rid of because their superpowers wouldn't make them famous.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like boob eyes, or like you can turn into a puddle of water, but the puddle of water has the Spanish flag in it.
Yeah.
So
like, all right, okay.
And so like it's all like really horrible powers.
The reject powers.
The reject powers, and one of them is like Ghost Girl, and she's a ghost. Her power is that she's a ghost constantly. She cannot eat, she cannot touch anything. She can be spoken to and speak to people. And so like the whole plot is like we want revenge on our parents. And that's the episode, is that they go have revenge on their parents. It's an incredible episode. Because like what it does really well, and I won't say too much more about it, but like what it does really well is what the boys does really well, which is it's ridiculous, it's bloody, but it's also got a painful emotional core at the center of it.
Yeah, I think that's what the marketing, from what I remember, they kind of just focus on like, look, it's really violent, instead of showing us any of what like the boys is actually good at, as being like good drama and like human emotion. Which apparently like this show has, so that's they just focus on the violence.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I think it's well worth your time to sit down and check them out. And you know, it's eight short episodes.
Are they like are they 20 minutes or 30 minutes?
They vary from like the 10 to 14 minute range.
Oh, like short. Yeah, okay, that's easy.
Very very quick to get through. I do hope they make another season of it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. So this is a weird one. I just want to touch on it because like I always want to sing her praises. I went and saw the Fathom event for Jodie Comer's solo one woman play that was in London, and they had the Fathom event for it for one night only, and I went and saw it. It's called Prima Facie, and it's very, very good. It's all about her being a defense lawyer in the UK, who has had to work the cases defending an accused man of sexual assault, and her perspective on it at that point in time, and then she gets sexually assaulted and has to take someone to court and knows exactly what the system she's playing in and what's going to happen, and all of this is done through just her own performances. She doesn't create characters, she's telling a story, and will occasionally like be quoting something they said, but in the same way where like if she were in a room telling you the story.
One woman
so she's creating the environment and everything, but without like doing voices or that kind of thing. She's just creating the whole story and the whole world, and it's about an hour and 56 minutes with not really an intermission. There is about a 5-minute pause from the sexual assault to when she goes to court about it, which is done really well because she's in the rain after she's just gone to the police station, and she leaves, and so the rain keeps falling. They literally have like sprinkler systems falling on and they do a counter of how many days, and the days just start speeding up and going up because it takes 3 years for her to get to court for the case about it. Super, super good. She's just so incredible. I can't wait for her to be in even more things. There's Jodie Comer from Free Guy.
The Last Duel?
Killing Eve, The Last Duel. Yeah. She's so incredible.
I always love when I see like big movie stars or big TV stars also do theater, because I'm like, no, you really like acting. You're not just there to be famous and make money. Like you're doing a 2-hour one woman show. You really like acting. I always respect the hell out of that.
Just really great. Unfortunately, it's not something like it might have another Fathom event. If it does, highly encourage anyone to check it out. If it pops back into theaters in your area, please go see it. It's super great. It's so good.
Hell yeah.
And then just real quick, I did finish my rewatch of Cowboy Bebop. That show is great.
It's true.
Really love it. Not sure if I'm going to dive into that live action series soon, but like I was happy to get back through the anime again. And I watched Nope, and so did Ryan.
Yeah.
And I'm not really going to say a lot about it because I think we're going to talk about it in a wider sense. I think we both want to at some later date.
Yes, I will probably, if it's still in theaters, have to see it again. So I'm refreshed on all the great shit.
Highly encourage people to see it though. Jordan Peele to me has not had a miss yet.
I listened to a spoiler interview with Jordan Peele. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but like he talked about directly how, without spoilers, film is really important to the movie itself, and filming in IMAX and stuff. Like he was super deliberate, and like he wants you not just because it makes more money and whatever. He filmed it in IMAX for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And now it might be too far. I don't know where the closest IMAX is, but like this is a movie where after listening, I'm talking like, shit. Now I kind of want to see this in IMAX.
Forrest and I did see it in IMAX.
Oh,
very good. Very good.
That's jealous.
I have yet to see it. I'm excited though. Mag says, "Hey gang, hello sir. We noticed that you were hacked."
Oh, he got the same thing happened to me. Remember when I got hacked?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the Bitcoin guy. It happens to all of us, bud.
You got bit by the Bitcoin guy.
Yeah, I didn't get any money from it.
Because I'm sick, I'm not going to talk about a lot of things I did. I did do kind of passing interest things throughout the couple of weeks because I've just been so busy and dealing with a lot of things. Like I watched Predators and The Predator and
getting ready for a particular movie, I hear.
I maybe.
Gotta get back to the Yaucha.
I really wanted to watch Predators, and I was like, what? I'll watch The Predator. I haven't seen it in a while, and I was like, what am I doing? I'll just watch Predators. So I rewatched Predators. Predators is an incredible movie. It's my favorite of the franchise by far. I won't say by far. The first one is close.
That first one, like action classic. That movie, that first one is so good.
That first one's very good. The Predators just has a lot for me. The Predator. I don't remember what I said about it in our review, but I haven't seen it since we reviewed it, and I was far less interested, I think, this time around. I just don't think the ending works, and that CGI Ultimate Predator just doesn't work for me at all.
I feel like we all felt that way.
I don't even remember.
I remember us specifically. We liked it more than the terrible reviews it's getting, but we weren't like mega hot. We were like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that bad. It's just it's not good. I'm very excited for Prey though, guys.
Once the reviews hit, I'm like, oh baby.
See y'all next week for our Prey review.
Next week.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's almost August. Oh my God.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, I watched that. It's a great movie. There was a lot of Ant-Man and the Wasp slander on my timeline. I was like, I'm gonna watch this movie because this movie rules.
It's true. It's a good movie.
So I'll talk a bit about well, I already talked about The Boys Diabolical. Great show. Check it out. Primal came back.
Mm-hmm.
Genny Tartakovsky's Primal came back. I've only watched the first 2 episodes. And it's very good. Like I forgot how good that show was. That first season it is quite good, but like coming back I was like, oh shit, this show is animated beautifully. It's brutal. There's no dialogue. It's such a great 30-minute episodes with no dialogue, and it feels like a show that should be comprised of just 15-minute shorts, but it's 30-minute meaty episodes of this guy's spear, this caveman. His name is Spear because he's got a spear. And Fang, which is the T-Rex, and it says their adventures together, and it through this horrible prehistoric world. It's incredible show.
It's really impressive that not only did Gendy get an entire season of like a silent show, he got a second season.
Yeah.
That's really incredible that it got enough response to get a second season.
Real quickly, because we're talking Gendy, I don't know if you're going to bring it up because I don't know if you watched it. I haven't yet. I want to, but I know you know about it.
Oh, the Popeye.
Do you know about the Popeye animatic?
Yeah, I saw it when it originally came out.
No.
A new one?
The entire movie's storyboard animatic.
Oh, did it come
online?
Oh, Gendy's
From
just
2013.
like, screw this.
The whole hour, 30-minute movie as storyboard animatic with voices you can watch.
I did not know that
online. We just found, like, this just went around this last week on Twitter that people were like, hey, so this is up. And you can just watch
Gendy,
what Gendy was thinking of. For
Gendy
that Popeye
or
movie.
his team were just like, screw it, just leak it out. Who cares? It's a dead movie. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I haven't done it yet, but it's bookmarked for me because I'm like, I can just watch that Popeye movie.
Dude, guaranteed.
Like, it's animated. It's like all the black and white storyboard art moving, but like that's wild.
Guaranteed that like storyboard movie is still better than half the movies will come out this year. like if it's voiced and shit, like, oh man, that's nuts.
Real quickly, Mag says, listening to today to ease by getting tricked by a friend. Don't worry about it, dude. It happens to the best of us. Almost happened to me. And I wised up last minute.
Good. Yo, man, I really needed that money when my friend offered it to me. That was a fake friend.
But yeah, so Primal, there's in the first episode, there's like they're in the middle of the ocean because through plot relevance they need to traverse the ocean, and so they're in the middle of the ocean. There's no food, and they had no idea that this was going to be such a long trip because they're primitive people and creatures. They have no idea what's going on, and so they're like. So they are like, okay, I'll go. So Spear's like, I'll go find food. And so he swims for like 5 minutes, can't find any food. And then all of a sudden there's this giant sea turtle. And Spear's like, we're going to get the sea turtle. And so he tries to like kill the sea turtle and it's not working. And the sea turtle is bigger than him. So it's trying to kill him too. And then he manages to trick the sea turtle into breaching the water right where Fang's mouth is, and Fang just like clamps down on the sea turtle's neck and just crushes it, and it's incredible. And now they have sea turtle. There's a megalodon in the first episode, which is great.
Shark Week.
Right. The second episode was way more emotional than I expected it was going to be, in such a wonderful. I want to say that it's brutal. It's a great show. Highly recommend it. If you like Gendy, if you like dinosaurs, watch Primal. It's great.
How many big locusts are in it though?
Not enough.
That's what I'm here for when I think of dinosaur movies. I think of giant locusts.
And not enough locusts. Not enough giant locusts.
He's already COVID positive. Why you gotta kick him when he's down?
No, it's not a good dinosaur thing. I just want to remind him
that there are bad dinosaurs.
That the real king here are the giant locusts. Thank you.
There's an extended cut of Jurassic World Dominion that apparently came out today, and I'm like, I couldn't care less.
An extended?
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that movie already really long?
Yeah. It's like pieces of scenes that are just extended.
Like a Fast and Furious extension.
No, but I want to watch
that. They're always like a minute longer.
Yeah. What was really great about Primal this season is that its first season, because it aired on Adult Swim, and Adult Swim at the time had its own streaming service, which I don't know if they still do. You could only watch Primal for a limited time on that streaming service after it aired on Adult Swim, and then like 6 months later it would come to HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
And this time it's airing on Adult Swim at midnight, and then an hour later it's on HBO Max.
Yeah, that's so
this
nice.
Was just real quick, like, because I was using the system. Adult Swim was, to its credit, extraordinarily nice. They would keep their things on there for about 4 to 6 months after they aired on television, free for you to watch, and then sometimes cycle it back out. this was all before HBO Max came around.
Yeah.
And so Primal was still like in that in-between space. But now that they have HBO Max, they're much better about like their Adult Swim stuff being available very quickly.
Yeah, so that's been really nice, and I don't have to wait so long, and it's great to just be able to watch that show week to week. I'll do this one next. A couple weeks ago, I finished after Thor: Love and Thunder came out. I finished King Thor, which is the final 4-issue miniseries that ended Jason Aaron's run on Thor. King Thor has always been kind of my favorite aspect of Aaron's run. I think that stuff is just super cool with flying space sharks and a dead Midgard that he cries to life after being possessed by the Necro Sword, and Galactus, the Necro Destroyer, Ego, the Necro World, like all so really awesome, really cool things, and the final 4 issues is just, it's the end of the universe, it's the end of everything, and it's Thor, Loki, and Gore at the end of everything, while Thor's granddaughters are trying to protect Midgard, the last bastion of life in the entire galaxy, in the entire universe, is just New Midgard, because Thor was too stubborn to just let it die.
I remember really liking all his granddaughters.
Yeah, they're great. I love them. Yeah. I love them so much. I wish there was more. I wish
you gotta wait a million years to get them though. That's the trouble.
I know, it sucks. I think that stuff was really cool and has such a satisfying ending. I think to just everything that is just like the final say of what Aaron wants to say on what he thinks a god is, what he thinks Thor's purpose is, what he's just been trying to say, just the final button, just to be like, because there's this line of dialogue in Thor that's kind of run concurrently, where Odin says to his son, "Do you know why we called you the God of Thunder? It's because you cried whenever it rained, and we just thought that was pathetic, so we just called you the God of Thunder to mock you." And so Thor grew up with that his entire life, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to own that. I'm going to own that." And then King Thor reveals that like Thor didn't cry because it rained. It rained because Thor was crying. And I was like, "Oh yeah."
What are you the god of again?
That's a better execution of that idea than Men in Black 2.
Yeah, for real though.
Oh yeah, she can control. Yeah, that's right.
It rains because you're crying, baby.
Send her to space.
And it's so cool because it's like Thor is trying to keep the universe alive, and it's like Odin didn't understand Thor's true power. It didn't rain. He didn't cry because it rained. It rained because he was crying.
He's a life bringer.
Beautiful, wonderful story. I wish I could experience it all again for the first time. And the King Thor needs 1,000 more years of stories that I could consume. And I hope his granddaughters come back again, because they were wonderful characters.
Nice, man.
And then finally, Light and Magic. I'll talk about Light and Magic, which is the docu-series on Disney Plus, Lawrence Kasdan, about ILM. I did not realize how influential ILM had continued to be. I knew that they were, obviously we know that they were like, one of the first big special visual effects houses. George Lucas, we all know the story. George Lucas needed a place to make the visual effects for Star Wars. There was none, and he made one. And what's really cool about this documentary is, because it's Lawrence Kasdan, George Lucas is in it. Mm-hmm. There is new George Lucas content for the first time in years.
Right.
And it's really cool to see him talk really candidly about the people he worked with at ILM. Like, there's this, in the first episode, he's like, "Yeah, I brought in this guy, and this guy." And the second episode is like, this guy, Dykstra, John Dykstra, who started ILM, he didn't invite John Dykstra to go with ILM to San Francisco.
It's Chloe Dykstra's dad.
And he was like, "Oh yeah." And he says, like, I was like, "It's not that I didn't like John Dykstra, it's just that I didn't think he could do it." And then we cut to John Dykstra, and he's like, I was heartbroken. I lost my job. I lost all my friends. And it's the story of just this family and how they fundamentally changed filmmaking, all because George Lucas was like, everything should be digital because that'll be easier. That's basically what happened, because he talks about how like ILM create digital editing is because of ILM, digital effects are because of ILM, digital sound is because of ILM. Everything that we have now is because of ILM.
And he's right to a certain extent. Like, you know, digital editing, digital sound, all of that, it is superior. It is a faster, easier model.
Yeah.
It's what's made it so that people can make things at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he talked about, and George Lucas even talked about, like, when they finally created the digital editing system, and like Adobe Photoshop came from ILM. And he was like, when we finally had digital editing and digital sound and digital effects, I was like, okay, now I can make the Star Wars prequels. Like that, he was very clear. It's like, the only reason why I didn't do that is because I didn't want to go through film on Empire Strikes Back. I was like, this is ridiculous. I shouldn't have to dig out reels of film to edit this, to edit my movie.
I am glad George Lucas didn't direct the last 2 Star Wars original movies. I think it's for the better.
Yeah. And then they talk about, and then ILM talks a lot about the people at ILM. They get a lot of the old people, the old guard at ILM, a lot of the new people at ILM, just talk about how they created some of their really impressive special effects that everyone to this day are praising. Talk a lot about the T2, about the T1000. They talk a lot about the Water Snake and Abyss, the house imploding in Poltergeist. It's Steven Spielberg talks a lot about working with ILM on basically every movie he's ever made. There's the famous shot in Willow, the famous morphing shot that ILM created. Like, ILM created morphing pretty much from Willow.
If you want to see how they do that, you should check out the Corridor Crew on YouTube. They got the guy who did that.
Yeah. And the guy, I watched that, and so that was a cool. It pairs really well watching that episode of Corridor Digital with Light and Magic. It's 6 episodes. They're about an hour long. I highly recommend it. It is. I didn't realize that the history of ILM was the history of visual effects. It's not Weta and other blanking on all the other visual effects houses names, but those people attribute a lot of their success. And Weta did a lot of great stuff. Like, I don't want to, like, obviously other visual effects houses have created some incredible work, but like ILM continued and continues to keep being like, this is the way we did it. Can we do it this way now? And
Weta wouldn't exist without ILM.
Yeah, exactly. And so like they talk about like how like it goes back to what they talked about with Jurassic Park with Phil Tippett. There's a great scene with Phil Tippett in the second to last episode with Jurassic Park, where they were going to make stop motion dinosaurs, and then some people at ILM was like, or we could make them CGI, and that was it. Stop motion was dead. Stop motion animation was dead. Phil Tippett was out of a job.
Still got paid.
He still got paid because Steven Spielberg knew he was heartbroken. And they actually talked about that. Like, Phil Tippett was like, I suffer from bipolar disorder. I have depression. I have anxiety. I was heartbroken. I was watching this dinosaur destroy my job. I was extinct. And Steven Spielberg was like, I'm going to take that line. I'm going to put it in the movie.
Check out Phil Tippett's Mad God, now available on streaming services.
On Shudder. I just found out on Shudder.
There you go.
Nice.
And so Phil Tippett has this wonderful interview in that whole thing. I could gush all day about Light and Magic. It was a truly incredible docuseries, one of the best I've ever seen. Highly recommend.
I'm really grateful for this. Is like the avenue of like Disney Plus resources and Disney resources. I'm really glad that they're doing where they put the focus on things like this.
Yeah, me too.
They put the full resource and budget, because like any other time, this is at best an hour, 15-minute documentary.
Yeah.
And they're willing to like really go for it with these docuseries they've been doing. And like putting aside like the behind the scenes featurette ones, like the Avengers Assembled kind of things, like any docuseries, like the ones that have been, you know, behind the scenes at Disneyland or behind the scenes of the animators or costumes or anything like that in a wide scope, those have all been very thoughtful and well made. And I do appreciate that they are constantly putting a focus on behind the scenes people.
Yeah. And I think what's really great about them is they don't feel like puff pieces.
Yeah.
Because like they could very well be like, oh, isn't Ireland great? But like there was a lot of struggle, and like go back to the Phil Tippett story. Like they didn't need to keep Phil Tippett breaking down, recalling his loss of stop motion animation for Jurassic Park.
They
But
all,
did.
from what I understand and the amount I've seen of them, this one by your account included, they're all made by people who love the thing.
Yeah.
And so they're want to pour that love and share that love and impart that love of the thing.
And the other thing that really is really great about it is that, you know, it's not just Spielberg, Ron Howard. It's the people who worked there, who continue to work there, and it's George Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this docuseries wouldn't work as well if George Lucas wasn't actually a part of it.
Sure.
Because he is such a big part of ILM, especially
He was
in the
there
beginning.
at the beginning. Yeah, he has to be there.
He was the beginning of ILM. And
Mhm.
so if you don't have him, I do think you still get a good, you do get something good, but you don't get something, you'll lose him, right? And he's very important. It's the same problem I have with like, what am I trying to say? It's The Toys That Made Us. The first episode of The Toys That Made Us is about Star Wars, and they don't have George Lucas.
Hmm.
And like that's fine. It's okay. It's like, look how cool Star Wars toys were, but like,
but it feels partial rather than whole.
Right. And
Yeah.
Lucas being there, being new footage, we sat Lucas down in San Francisco and we actually talked to us about ILM. Candidly, it felt whole.
Sure.
So I highly recommend that show. What was
I was on Disney Plus and I saw, oh, Light and Magic got added. I thought it was a movie. So I clicked on it and I was like, ooh, six episodes. And I'm like, that's a commitment. Oh, whoops. Maybe next week.
I'm lucky. I'm not lucky. Look, I'm very sick. This
No, yeah.
sucks. But I needed something to watch. I was like, oh, Light and Magic's on. I'll watch that.
I'm glad it's an actual like series, because like an hour and a half
Because it's that time.
Yeah,
it's that time that we just
So like I was sad because like, oh, I'm not gonna binge all this, but like now I have like, oh, it's like a whole ass documentary, baby. Like they go into it, so like I'm excited to watch it.
And the last thing I want to say is that they remaster a lot of old footage, and it's not just like we've just put in old footage to put places. Like they remastered the old footage from that they filmed back in the old days.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
it looks
awesome.
really good.
That's great.
All right, that's all I have to say.
All right. Well, we got
a full
decent chunk of news, so let's dive in.
podcast.
Not to say, but I appreciated hearing everything you guys had to say, because that all sounds like cool stuff. You made me want to watch a bunch of things.
I just want to watch Resident Evil.
Yeah, I know that's what you made me do.
1 second, sorry. We haven't seen our good friend Babs in a while.
Babs.
Okay. Sad news up top. Actually, quite a bit of sad news up top.
We got weeks of sadness.
Shanka Dekura. Apologize. I looked it up a few weeks ago and I forgot to do it again. Anyway, this was an actress who played Big Mama Thornton in the new movie Elvis. It was her first role. She's been kind of a struggling musician all her life, mother of 2 kids. She died at the age of 44.
Oh, God, that's rough.
After getting her big break in Elvis, and people have been like praising her. She did You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, I think. In the movie.
Oh gosh, 44 is so young.
That's too young.
I was gonna say, like, that's not to get super personal or anything. That's literally the age that my cousin, who just passed away this last week, died at. I'm like, so young. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so rough.
And it's just you just feel bad because, like, you know, she's been struggling so long, and she was trying to be an actress for so long.
Got a big break.
And
do we know cause?
Not now. They only said no foul play.
Okay.
So cause of death hasn't been revealed yet.
No,
Shame.
I haven't seen that, but that's awful.
Yeah. Alan Grant, not the character from Jurassic Park. There was a comic book writer, a prominent comic book writer called Alan Grant, wrote a lot of Batman, a lot of 2080. He's British. Kind of been famous for being weirdly absent from Batman anniversaries the
Hmm.
past couple of years. Like there's been this weird, like DC has been stipping him for a lot lately. Anyway, he passed away at the age of 73.
Are you familiar?
Yes, he created Victor Zsasz.
He created Victor Zsasz.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
He's also the reason he wrote most of the famous shit from Judge Dredd. He's the guy who made Judge Dredd what it is.
Oh, okay.
Very
Got
much
it.
so, from the 80s and stuff. Yeah. Like I haven't read a lot of his work because it's mostly in English stuff. But like in the 80s, he wrote a bunch of Batman stuff. And it is right, Brandon. Like he doesn't get a lot of credit anymore. And I wonder if he had like personal issues with DC or something. But yeah, he created a couple of the minor characters. And made Judge Dredd like the guy he is today. So thanks for that, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah. In my back, I was cutting out.
No, you're here.
You're good.
Okay, good. Yeah, I wanted to bring that guy up because like I've been familiar with him. They released when I was working at the comic book store, they released a collection of his Batman works that I picked up, and they're all really very good. I forgot I'd forgotten that he created Victor Zsasz, but yeah. Monty Norman is the composer for the iconic James Bond theme. You know, the theme that is James Bond. He composed it.
Right.
Passed away at the age of 94. Good life, long legacy.
Yeah, I mean, if you have one of the most iconic songs in history,
Congrats.
like you made
Seriously.
It's a long life, yeah.
Did he have any other prominent work or?
I didn't see anything iconic that
Yeah.
stood the test of time,
Sure.
but he did work on a lot of films.
How do you beat James Bond, though, really?
No, yeah, I get,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. All right. Tony Dow, who was that old show.
Oh, sorry, you cut out. Do that one more time.
Tony Dow
Mm-hmm.
from who was Wally from Leave It to Beaver.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
He also directed a very prominent Star Trek DS9 episode that I really liked.
Oh, okay.
It was an episode where there was an assassin on the ship who was using bullets that could transport to their target.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. He died at 77. He was a prominent television director after he did Leave It to Beaver.
Gotcha.
Right on.
Paul Sorvino,
Mm.
most famously probably from Goodfellas,
Mhm.
but also a Star Trek alum. He played Worf's human brother on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Paul Sorvino? I don't remember him being on Next Gen.
Yeah, he's Worf, because Worf was adopted by two humans. This was
Yeah.
his human brother.
I don't remember that.
Paul Sorvino has a pretty cool career.
Yeah.
I know, like, one of my favorite appearances of his, besides Goodfellas, is Time Bandits.
No, are you thinking of the next guy?
Am I?
No, you're thinking that's the guy from Twin Peaks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Paul Sorvino's a Goodfellas. Is a mobster guy. Oh my god, he definitely was in Star Trek. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Wow.
He passed away at the age of 83.
There's a great video going around of his daughter, Mina Sorvino, who got absolutely, what's the right word? It's like, got like blacklisted because of Harvey Weinstein. And her career dropped through the 90s and 2000s because of terrible Me Too shit. But there's a great video when she won an Oscar of her thanking her dad on stage, and Paul is in the audience just sobbing, dude. Just like the second he says, like, I don't want to thank my dad who is so supportive, he just breaks down into tears because his daughter just won an Oscar. And I'm like, oh my God, that's such a great moment.
Mag is asking, wasn't he in Rocketeer? I haven't seen the Rocketeer, so I don't know.
I don't remember. It's been too long since I've seen Rocketeer.
David Warner.
This is the guy I definitely know.
This one hurt me a bit. I'm gonna rattle off some of the ones that I wanna just kind of remind people, like Ra's al Ghul from Batman the Animated Series, Chancellor Gorkon in Star Trek 6, Gul Madrid in Star Trek: The Next Generation. He was the Cardassian. If you've ever seen the famous clip, "There are 4 lights," that's his episode. He was torturing Picard. Dillinger, the bad guy from Tron.
Mhm.
He was also in Time Bandits. He's the reporter of The Omen, Twin Peaks, Titanic, Doctor Who, Mary Poppins Returns,
He's in Scream too.
Scream 2. Passed away at the age of 80.
Yeah, he's Twin Peaks, my favorite television show. He is a small but very important part. He plays a really bad boy. I'll always remember him. Thomas Eckhart, piece of shit.
Yeah, I love him. He has 3 roles in Star Trek. He's in Star Trek 5 and Star Trek 6 as 2 different characters, and I always thought that was funny.
That's so silly.
Because in Star Trek 5 he's a human, and in Star Trek 6 he's a Klingon.
Time Bandits, incredible movie. Currently being remade into a television show by Taika Waititi himself.
Yeah, that's right. He was also in Time After Time, where he plays Jack the Ripper.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Jack the Ripper H.G. Wells movie. Where
Yeah.
remember we did a long time ago. We did an episode on Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country. I don't know if you remember, but he's the like the head of the Klingon people who get shot on the ship.
Yeah.
Dude, that was
yeah.
like first year. I wasn't even here.
I know. I wasn't asking you. But yeah, I love, like, every time he was on screen, I really liked him. I really loved all of his roles. He's always such a fun presence.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Nichelle Nichols.
really good filmography.
This happened today. Nichelle Nichols, Uhura.
Oh, really?
Yeah, passed away at the age of 89.
Talk about a legacy.
Yeah, I'll say. I'm pretty heartbroken by this one, I'll be honest. Like, she's been frail for so long. She's been kind of sickly for so long, but she's a wonderful actress, has a huge legacy. You know, she changed the world.
Yeah.
Single-handedly almost.
First interracial kiss on TV.
Yeah. One of the first prominent Black characters on TV. Just her legacy is continued by 2 actresses who are both wonderful in the role. I think Zoe Saldana and Celia Gooding are great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it kind of broke my heart when I saw this happen today.
Oh my god, pull up Mac's comment. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Just watched a documentary of her enlisting people in NASA for other races. Yeah.
That's right on. I remember we met her at Comic-Con at 5 years ago at this point, and she back then was even kind of like sickly. But she was nice to every single person that she talked to. And that's yeah.
She had a conservatorship back then, which was kind of controlling her. There was a big deal to get her out of it. Now the original crew is just Shatner, Takai, and Koenig. Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Mary Alice, who is the Oracle from the Matrix Resurrections.
The second Oracle.
The second Oracle, third movie.
Second Oracle.
Passed away at the age of 85.
That's a tough role to take over from. But she did great. It's a shame. It's a long life.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with her other work, unfortunately, but she had a very long film and stage career. So,
right on.
And then Bernard Cribbins, Wilfred Mott from Doctor Who, passed away at the age of 93.
Y'all want to cry? That's the one that watch him, Doctor Who.
He's the one who will make you cry on Doctor Who.
A wonderful character. I always loved seeing him.
An actor who became a meme and probably never knew what it was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
crying meme.
Yeah. He is back for the 60th. There's footage of him. They haven't confirmed it officially, but
really?
we saw him. We saw David Tennant pushing him around in a wheelchair.
That's right.
Aww. It's gonna make me want to watch that more.
It's gonna be dedicated to him for sure. Yeah.
100%. There's a lot of connections, I think, to, not to get into rumors, but there's rumors that the new companion, Ncuti Gatwa's companion, is Donna's daughter.
Fascinating.
Dr. Donna,
which is why she's named Rose. So I loved Bernard Cribbins. The End of Time is when he was the companion for that 2-part episode is just wonderful.
Old man companions are always fun.
I made the joke about, like, not really joke, but like the reference to his meme thing. And the thing is, like, those things only become that way because the performer is so good at capturing the emotion in a moment that people can utilize that for memes. And that's what he did. Like, you don't even need to know Doctor Who and you're like, this is powerfully emotional and exactly represents the way I want to represent this. Hats off to him. He's amazing.
Yeah, I wanted to one of the things that one of the kind of the nice things that happens when something tragic like this happens is that people share a lot of clips from other pieces of work, and a lot of which I had not been familiar with. I had not familiar with a lot of his body of work. I didn't know he was in the Peter Cushing Doctor Who movie.
Yes. Yeah.
I had no idea. So he was in Doctor Who in 1966.
Yes.
So many people double dip in Doctor Who.
And
but he's in like non-canon Doctor Who.
No, oh yeah, okay.
Because Peter Cushing is like a human in that who like
these are the alternate take Peter Cushing Doctor Who films. There are two
of them, yeah.
It's all canon in my part.
They're the ones that are like legitimately, like, Paul McGann is canon, but like those things are like whole different interpretation Doctor Who kind of thing.
Okay. The Ultimate Universe Doctor Who.
Yeah, and
because his name is like Doctor. His name is like Doctor. He's a doctor whose last name is Who.
Oh, boo!
But
and he's a human.
No, I get it.
Watching its own
I get it, but how can he be more literal than like, my name is Dr. Jonathan Who?
The clips that the people were, he was a very funny man. He was a showman. He was I might go back and just watch all of his Doctor Who episodes, like, quite honestly.
He's good. He's a good part.
Yeah.
He was a lot of fun. That one also broke my heart. All right, let's move on to some other things.
Moving right along.
Spy Kids.
Okay.
Billy Magnuson has been added to the cast.
I like him.
Yeah, which one is he? He's
the prince in Aladdin.
It's the prince from Aladdin. Thank you. He's in Game Night. Is he the one in Game Night?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And we also know what the movie is going to be about. It's going to follow the children of the world's greatest secret agents as they unwittingly help a game developer unleash a computer virus that gives him control of all technology.
This gave me Spy Kids 3 flashbacks.
Game over. That's fun.
He's trying again.
Sure.
Scream 6 has cast Samara Weaving and Tony Revolori.
You want to talk about like
all-star cast?
Pumped cast.
Oh my
I am
God.
pumped for Scream 6. Holy God.
Me too.
And Hades back. Kirby,
Kirby.
I'm so excited. I'm actually even more excited with the next piece of news.
That Neve Campbell is not coming back?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't hear this.
Yes, Neve Campbell.
She turned that money down?
No, she said that the rumors were false.
Oh,
it was just a false rumor. She is not coming back.
That's fine. That's just
good.
It's so funny.
I stand by that. Like, I don't think the franchise should have her anymore.
Yeah.
You cannot kill her. Her story should be left alone.
It's true.
Yeah. Sleep. Let her have a happy life.
It's time for the franchise to move past Sydney.
Yeah. And she even says, she read an early version of the script and she's like, it's good. It's just not, they'll retool it to not have me in it, and I wish them luck.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I think that's a good direction for them to have to go, is to leave Sydney alone.
Yeah, there's nothing else we can learn or do with her. So give the screen time to like stuff that can progress the story instead of just having your main character from the last movies in it for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Adam Scott had joined the cast of Madam Web.
I was just gonna say, like, real quick, like it's pretty unheard of already for the final girl of a horror franchise to have been in all 5 of the films and still kicking.
Yeah.
And like I said, because of her legacy, her longevity, you cannot take her out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There's
you know what's gonna happen? We're gonna wait 20 more years and then we'll do another Scream, but it's like the Halloween movies where we have old lady Jamie Lee Curtis, but now it's old lady Neve Campbell,
right?
And it's like her granddaughter is the killer or some bullshit.
I truly hope not. I do think, like, I stand by, like, even when we were talking about like the Scream 5 stuff, I stand by that, like, with Wes Craven gone and Sydney being a creation of his, respectfully, I think they should just allow her to go in peace. It's always been the arc that Wes has been pushing her towards anyway.
She won.
Is for her to not get bested by the killers. Sydney's supposed to win. That's ingrained in that character.
She did her time.
Sorry, Adam Scott and Madam Web. Great cast. I don't want to see it.
I still can't believe how good this cast is, and I love Adam Scott so much. And everyone's like, "Is he playing Peter Parker?" No, he's not. He's playing a random dude, no doubt. There's no way he's playing Peter Parker.
I don't put anything past anybody at this point.
I would, but that would. I think that'd be sick if he was a retired Peter Parker. But I don't believe Sony has the capacity to make cool decisions anymore. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If I believe anything, I believe Sony will take a good idea and waste it.
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna. Well, I'm not worried about Madam Web being like,
He's gonna be like some guy named John Harrison, and then he's gonna show up and be like, "My name's Peter Parker, actually," and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh."
Well, I mean, Adam Scott is he is a. If you're gonna have like a 45-year-old retired Peter Parker, he's a really good choice for it.
Sure.
I just don't think Sony is gonna do anything cool with like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. You go, Sony. You keep doing this, I guess.
I'm still more invested in Madam Web than I am in Craven.
That's true.
So
I'll grant you that. I'm at least curious about the cast.
Yeah.
More than I am with Craven. And Craven, I'm already checked out.
Craven out.
Yeah.
Dune Part 2
What?
has cast Suhelia Yakub. Sorry. As Shish Akli.
Where are we at? Right here. Oh, Shishakli.
Shishakli.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't remember the character, I wrote down just a brief description. A Fremen from Siege Tabor who helps Paul Atreides during his Sandrider. I'm so out of it. I'm sorry. Trial, learning to harness the giant sandworms that roam beneath the surface of desert planet Arrakis.
Yeah, she trains them. She's a worm trainer. Cool. I love Dune so much, and like we got Florence Pugh and we got Christopher Walken. Elvis is playing the evil kid, evil Paul Atreides. I'm just like, God, I'm so pumped. We're gonna get so many worms.
She's from a lot of foreign projects.
Cool.
I think her only prominent thing is she was in No Man's Land on Hulu.
Okay.
But otherwise, she's in a whole lot of foreign films.
That's good. They're not casting a white person to be a Fremen. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, they haven't yet, so why would they?
No, but I'm saying.
I mean, she's she's Swiss.
Swiss.
But yeah, that's cool.
I'm into it. I'm so into it.
I really like what because you brought up all the Fremen have been diverse casting. I was really happy. I'm really happy the direction that Denis Villeneuve went with the Fremen. And they're filming now, which is exciting.
Hell yeah. Out next year.
Alden Ehrenreich has been cast in Ironheart.
Shit, yeah, I'm so excited.
Really?
Yes.
Mhm.
Alden! Thank you, Disney, for not throwing him away.
I hope he's something in the MCU where we can see him a lot. Because I really like him.
I do too. My feeling is he's a one and done bad guy. That's where my heart tells me, but I hope it's wrong.
Your Ironheart?
My Ironheart tells me, yeah.
It's true. It's very possible, but I'm hoping that it's something where we can keep him around for a bit because he deserves an MCU win.
Because he's not Han Solo.
God, Kasdan, because he's doing the promotion for Light and Magic. It's like, I would do another Han Solo movie. I won't do a show. I'll do a movie.
Yeah.
That's funny. He's like, I've seen those shows.
Solo shouldn't have a show. I'll be honest. Like Solo shouldn't have a show. I would watch it, but I would do another movie. Lando should have a show.
Yeah.
I would. I just hope that if we see Han Solo again, because they're talking about it, it's not Harrison Ford.
He's got no. I think he's actually done. It feels done.
I'm pretty sure he's going out with Indy 5.
Mm-hmm.
I am too. We've got the first casting for Star Wars: The Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
Amandla Stenberg.
Woo!
Yes.
Who I'm not familiar with.
I know she's black, and that's great. I'm glad that we're getting more diversity in Star Wars.
I'm just thrilled.
Oh, she's from The Hate You Give.
She's in that Darkest Mind movie, which apparently wasn't very good, but that's not her fault. That's awesome. The Acolyte is probably the Star Wars show I'm most excited about because it doesn't take place during anything I know a lot about. Give me some new shit, please.
Oh, she's in Bodies, 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 which we're going to talk about
Ooh,
later.
bing bong. Yeah, I'm ready for some High Republic shit.
I
David-
know. I now know.
Is she
who
Rue?
No. I now know who she is just looking at her from the Bodies, Bodies, Bodies trailer. So
Oh, okay.
I think she's going to be cool. I'm
Okay.
excited for her.
I want to say that's Rue from the Hunger Games, but I could be wrong.
I haven't. No. Oh.
I'm looking. I'm already there.
You're on it.
All right. Well.
There's one Hunger Games on here.
Spoiler: she dies in that franchise.
She's not Rue.
Okay,
She's
cool.
not Rue, but
Rue is appearing as like the lead star in something new, and I just don't remember what it was. Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I do remember this. I don't remember what you're talking about though.
Oh well.
Well, David Krumholtz is going to return as Bernard in the upcoming Disney Plus sequel series to the Santa Claus. Now we know it's titled The Santa Clauses.
The character we've all been waiting for.
Actually, quite honestly, yes.
No, I was being partially real. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like I care about him more than Tim Allen.
I've always missed his presence in the third film, and I'm happy he's back.
Yeah, she was Rue.
I thought so.
It's this one. This one was Rue?
Yeah. Amanda Steinberg
Yeah,
I
was
thought
Rue.
Oh, good
yeah.
for her.
Spoilers. She gets killed.
She was Rue in the Hunger Games Catching Fire, not in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, the second one.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Screw up a little bit.
But yeah, Sparks, David Krumholtz.
Yes. I'm very happy that Bernard's coming back, considering that they completely wiped him out in the third one. So good for that guy.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
he
what was
gets
what was the explanation? He just grew up?
I don't even think it was that, because he was already grown up in the first two.
Yeah. He's a taller elf.
No, I think they just wanted to put more focus on the kid from the second one, because he takes Bernard's role and becomes head elf in the third one.
I
Oh,
hated
that kid.
Yeah.
No thanks.
I hated that kid.
Yeah. No, I'm glad Bernard gets to be around, because it's weird if Bernard isn't, because he's an elf and they're immortal.
The live action Avatar: The Last Airbender series has two new casting announcements. One is that James Tsai will reprise his role as the Cabbage Merchant.
This is kind of stupid, but cool.
I have no faith in that show, but like that's great, because one of the best things from Avatar is always that dude going my cabbages.
Yeah.
And it being the guy it's a little cute. I think it's cute.
Yeah.
Not gonna save a show or anything, but
No.
it's cute.
No.
And Danny Pudi has been cast as the Mechanist.
Do you think, just real quick, they're going to make the cabbage guy like a character for a whole episode?
No. I bet he will get more screen time than just my cabbages, but I do not think
I do too.
I don't think he's gonna get any like reels. He's not a character.
No, I don't mean like they'll give him a whole arc. I just mean like we're going to get like a whole episode that's like from the perspective of the cabbage guy.
I highly doubt it. I guarantee you it'll be like a 3-minute comedy
Yeah.
scene of him setting up the cabbages and then being destroyed, and that's about it.
Yeah.
What if that's the thing that drove the guys away? It's like we want a whole episode about the cabbage guy. It's like no.
You've missed the point.
It's that or we walk.
It's a cabbage bender.
All right. Kristen Ritter has joined the Orphan Black sequel series as the lead.
Okay, so I talked to Ryan about this earlier. I'm now extraordinarily convinced Kristen Ritter is in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I don't think that she coincidentally ends up the lead of the previously Tatiana Maslany led series without there being a connection between the two.
Yep.
Especially with Tatiana Maslany still being connected to the team and producing. As far as I'm aware, she's producing the sequel series. I don't think that that's coincidence. I think she met Kristen Ritter and got along, got her over there for the job.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's still an important show to Maslany. So like, I'm now very convinced she's in She-Hulk.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, very likely. That's cool. I didn't even think
And that's
about
great. Kristen Ritter is a great actor to follow up doing Orphan Black stuff. I think that's awesome.
She's
a fantastic choice for a lead. For that
she's
show.
a really good character actor, and if you've only seen her in like Jessica Jones, like she has a lot of range.
Yeah,
because she was in Breaking Bad. She was also the bee
Don't
in
trust the
Apartment.
bee in Apartment 23.
Yeah, and she's done like incredibly ditzy characters, incredibly hard characters.
The only three things I've seen her in were Gilmore Girls, where she was in the last season, where she plays kind of like this ditzy kind of college girl. Breaking Bad, which she's excellent in Breaking Bad, and Jessica Jones.
You never saw any Don't Trust the Bee?
No, I never did.
Oh, it's a good show.
Yeah.
There's a movie that she's out of my league. She plays the bitchy friend, and she's out of my league. A Jay Baruchel movie that I really liked when I was younger. Yeah, she is such a good character actor. Like, I'm glad, man. Jessica Jones coming back too, baby.
I'm super stoked. I really love Orphan Black, so I've been trepidatious about the sequel series, even with like them saying like, we're bringing a lot of the team and a lot of the heart back to it, but it's not going to be following Maslany's characters. Kristen Ritter being at the head gives me a lot of faith right off the bat.
It's a good replacement.
Yeah.
Kurt and Wyatt Russell have been cast in the Godzilla Apple TV Plus TV series.
So cool.
That is awesome.
I'm so excited.
Those are both excellent. Wyatt Russell is like just becoming such a talent.
Have they been on screen together yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Dad-son project for them. I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm really excited. This like I've been excited for the show anyway because like what can we do on Apple TV Plus with Godzilla? I'm stoked. After the first movie, which is my favorite still, like super excited. And then Kurt Russell is great. Wyatt Russell is great. Put them together. I'm like, all right, I'm sold. Give it to me. Just put it in my eyeballs.
Family drama amongst monsters.
And like they haven't said it, but there's no way they're not playing father and son.
Oh yeah,
they have to be.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that dynamic to watch them do that because they're both incredible talents in their own rights.
Is this Kurt Russell's first TV role?
I'll Google it.
I want to say no, but I also can't think of what it would be.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything.
But I want to say no. Ryan's on it.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked.
I went to his television and he has like 50 television appearances from 1960 to now.
So no.
So here's the thing. He was in TV for like 15 years before he became a movie actor. He's done literally like 50 television shows from the 60s and 70s. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Has he appeared on any prominent shows recently?
What if?
That we would... Okay, yeah, I mean, but not that.
No. His jump from TV is 1980 to 2021.
That's funny.
That's funny. He became a movie star in the 80s.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's true. That's wild.
So no, I would not call him a TV actor for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Right. That's wild. He's so old. Wow, Kurt.
But this is awesome. This is really cool that they're going to play together. I'm really excited.
And that also means I bet he saw the value in this, like, hey, like I know this isn't a movie, but like if it's high scale and high budget enough where like he will do it as a TV show. So like,
or he was pitched it as you could do this with your son.
True.
Yeah. Either way, like there's something of value for them in it, and both of them make very good choices with the roles they pick.
Yeah.
So of late, so I have far more faith immediately that they're both in it.
Ego and John Walker. Look at that.
I mean, like. Kurt Russell made a meal out of Santa Claus. I can't wait to see this.
Yum, yum, yum.
Kurt Russell made Mr. Nobody into somebody in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah,
like anyone else's hands, that could have been
garbage. I'll never forget like the scene where I don't remember which one it is, and one of the later ones. Like he goes into a warehouse, is like, well, that's funny. Something's wrong here, and then he dies. Or whatever.
My favorite one is an 8.
That's when they all get knocked out by Vin.
Yeah.
It is when he's just like, that's funny. That's here.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of.
It is. Yeah. That's really funny because that's right here. Yeah.
That's my favorite. I think about that a lot.
He's so good. Yeah, he's so good in that. Like he can do anything. So I'm excited, and I think Wyatt Russell also is capable of all that about anything. So
and still like being the showrunner, Matt Shackman, who did WandaVision, who's done It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, excellent TV guy. So like I'm so excited for the show.
Me too. Mag reminds us that he once played Elvis
That was in like 1979.
Yeah, that was a TV movie and a long time ago.
Yeah.
Our entire lives have happened since he was on TV.
Yeah.
Besides the ego appearance. Of
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm so stoked for that. I'm so stoked for that.
I hope, I'm glad that there's faith in the MonsterVerse and that they want to keep moving forward. I hope the scripts measure up.
Me too.
That's all I want, because they're getting the talent.
Yeah.
We've got Dan Stevens in the other film. Like, they're getting the talent. I want the scripts to measure
That's
up.
why I think
Because they had the talent in the Godzilla vs. Kong movie. The
No, yeah.
talent, the script did not.
That's why I
equal them.
feel that the scripts for these probably are good, because Kurt Russell did say yes. It was with his son.
Yeah.
But like,
I honestly,
think-
and also,
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, with this being set where it is, I really would love it if they could get
Watanabe. Watanabe.
No, I was, well, yes, yes, but that wasn't who I was thinking of. I would love it if they could get God, her name is escaping me. Conjuring.
Vera
Vera
Farmiga.
If they could get Farmiga back, because it's a big deal that what she's doing too at that time.
Before she becomes like a super bad guy.
Well, because she does everything because of the events of Godzilla, so it'd be great if like she's at least somewhere around. Like we get the idea of how all this is built together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that the show has a lot of really cool potential. Like, I would love to see Ken Watanabe come back, because
It feels like he has to.
he would have to, especially if you're doing this show based around Monarch. I think it's insane that there are 3 MonsterVerse projects in the works concurrently right now: the animated show, the movie, and this show. And I personally have a lot more faith in the Apple TV Plus show than I do anything else. Not particularly because I didn't love Godzilla vs. Kong. I do really like that movie, but it's a lot of the same team is back for that. I don't know exactly who's writing it though. But this show has the potential to kind of really do what Godzilla 14 started and really expand on it in a way. Like, we got more character work, we get more monster work, we can really stretch it out in an organic way that works very well. So what I'm looking at this is basically like, this is the follow-up that I wanted from 2014. Not to say I don't like what's come after, but
Right.
like, this is really the sweet spot for me.
You want that Monarch exploration,
So-
that sweet Monarch exploration.
I was looking at the cast list, and this is funny because last names are funny. There's an actor named Ren Watanabe who's in the show. He's not related to Ken Watanabe.
That's funny.
And I was like, oh, is that going to be his son playing his son? Are we doing multiple father dynamic thing? Like, no, he just happens to have the same last name.
Wait, you don't remember very well, do you? We met his son in Godzilla vs. Kong.
No, I
You know what he's
remember.
saying.
No, I remember.
But this is earlier, and he's got a good point. Like, if you do bring back Ken Watanabe, you can do some of that backwards work on his son to at least make that shit count.
Because
Godzilla vs.
this
Kong.
would be the place to do that, because that character is like doesn't make any sense in that movie.
two father-son dynamics.
Exactly. Good and evil. It could be
Yeah.
fun.
Father and son dynamics in Godzilla. Woo, gimme.
I'm
That's a lot
very
of fish.
excited for the show.
That's a lot of fish.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
News?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the news?
Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah.
Ben Affleck is going to reprise his role as Bruce Wayne Batman.
We're done with the Snyderverse. No
Which is-
more.
Apparently it is replacing a Michael Keaton cameo.
Do you think this is just because the movie's coming out before The Flash now?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so too.
I don't think they're getting rid of Michael Keaton, but I do think they need to flip flop some shit.
I think that they couldn't put Michael Keaton in that before because the movie's coming out before The Flash now.
I think so too. I think that because
That's
this
cool.
is
I'm glad Ben Affleck wanted to do it. Good for him.
this is said to be like a small like post-credits cameo akin to. So I don't think we'll see him in like the cowl. I think we're just going to see him in the suit.
I'm sure he's only showing up as Bruce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in the picture. He's definitely like Bruce Wayne-ified, like
Yeah.
clean shaven, good looking hair. Those are some nice shoes.
And I think it's wild that Warner Brothers has to bend over backwards for the Flash right now. But hey, if we get more Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne and he wants to do it, sure, I like him.
They're in such a weird spot because like as they're wanting to build out their universe, they don't have the kind of benefit of like people being entrenched in the MCU timeline and giving a shit, and like they'll be like, oh yeah, this took place before and XYZ, and they'll think of things that way.
Mhm,
And like they don't have that benefit. So it does matter what comes out before what. And since they had to rejigger their schedule with Flash, I'm sure makes sense. I'm happy that he was happy to do it.
And they can't do it to Michael Keaton and Batgirl.
Right.
because
He's like-
apparently he's a larger part in that.
Oh yeah, he's like a co-star in that movie almost. Yeah.
I'm a little bummed that we're losing Ben Affleck as Batman. Not necessarily. Like, I think he's right to want to step away from it, but like as in the sense of like, I think it's a mistake to make Michael Keaton your main Batman in your main continuity.
I'll put it this way. I think it's smart in the sense of like Ben Affleck didn't want to do it. Like that's what it's in response to. Ben Affleck just didn't want to do it anymore. And he wanted to step away, and I think that's good. And you want to have an old Bruce Wayne now who people can still care about, because we're getting young Bruce Wayne. We got Robert Pattinson. It's on another Earth. Cool, we can do all that. Having old Bruce Wayne allows us to do all the rest of the Bat Family stuff that has never gotten its proper attention in live action films. And now you can do that. And if Ben Affleck didn't want to do it anymore, I think you made the best choice you could. And if that's where we're heading, I'm all for it. If we're getting like Nightwing stuff, if we're getting Barbara Gordon stuff, and that's going to be our film universe for the connected universe, and have Robert Pattinson's young Batman on the side, that's all you need, baby.
That's a fair point.
I
point. I didn't think about it that way.
And Affleck didn't want to do it, and if that's the case, then he shouldn't have to.
No,
so here's the thing.
I wasn't saying that Affleck should have done it. You brought up a good point about the Bat Family thing that I didn't consider.
I think that's exactly why we're getting older Bruce Wayne, because that's what Ben Affleck was too. We're getting older Bruce Wayne either way.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they want a Bat Family focus in the live action films. They want to really go for that. And I think if that's the role, especially with them knowing we've got the successful Bruce Wayne young Batman on the side, then I say go for it. Go for it, because it's time for those characters to shine in the films.
Yes. So I'm a big Batfleck guy. I love it. His time several years ago when he was going to BVS and he was going to make his own Batman movie, direct it. He was at one of the lowest points in his life. So doing all that stuff all at once was not a good thing. He likes being Batman. He doesn't like being Batman when he's killing himself and having to work for Warner Brothers as a writer, director, and stuff. So like him just cameoing as Batman, he's doing it multiple times. So clearly he wants to do it. I think his Batman rules. Hey guys, I'm a Zack Snyder not fan. I don't like this. Like, I love the Snyder Cut. Don't care about BVS, but I think Batman is so good in the Snyder Cut. It's a continuation of that Batman, like, who has gone through some shit and trying to become a better person. And I love him in the Snyder Cut. And he's the best part of BVS in my opinion. So like, I am thrilled that Ben Affleck gets to shine in something he's really good at in a period where he's not the press. He's not working under studio mandates. He gets to just be an actor. Yeah. And that's so great. Because like now he's like basically free to just like, I just get to be Batman again. And I think that's excellent because he's so good. He's so good at it.
I agree.
I think the thing we can all come away with is that it's nice that he finally married Jennifer Lopez.
Good for him.
Hell yeah.
Very happy for him, quite honestly. I think that's really great.
20 years later, get back with the love of your life. I think that's hella cute. I love it.
Enjoy your Paris honeymoon.
Dude, you see the video of him asleep on the yacht? God, what a life he's living. I'm Batman again. I married the love of my life. I'm just chilling. Love it. I'm so happy for him.
I'm happy for both of them.
Yeah.
That they got back. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for them.
There is a Namor the Submariner comic coming called Conquered Shores by Christopher Cantwell. We talked a little bit about this on our Comic-Con episode.
I was going to say,
more.
Yeah.
This was kind of left over of the initial announcement. Basically, Christopher Cantwell and Pasquale Ferry are developing a Submariner comic, which takes place 100 years in the future on a mostly flooded Earth that Namor now runs because all the heroes have left Earth to go fight the Kree, is what they said at Comic-Con. Yeah,
I'm very excited.
Christopher Cantwell can't do wrong. In terms of comic books, at least.
Can do well. Can do very well.
Yeah. And Namor is a guy who's about to get a real hard push for some reason, I guess. And it's cool that like the first big book, it's like an Elseworld book. Like they're allowing like, hey, here's a character showing up in a movie. We're not going to give you an in continuity book. I think that's just really cool and fun.
Was it Cantwell who recently did the little video thing where he mocked Alan Moore's masterclass thing?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know if I saw that.
Oh yeah,
I follow him on Twitter.
Wasn't that Zdarsky?
Was that Zdarsky? I was like, it's him or Zdarsky. I think it.
That sounds like a
Zdarsky. It was pretty good.
Zdarsky.
Yeah.
Cantwell. I said it like when we talked about it last time, but like he is one of the best people right now who can write big ego macho men.
who think they're like very highly of themselves.
Yes.
Dr. Doom, Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Namor is very much another character just like that. So I'm pumped. Kang, you're right. Yes, 100%.
Soon, Norman Osborn.
Oh yeah! Oh, he's so good. I love you.
Norman Osborn being a good guy. Yeah.
Ah, it's been too long.
Sad news for Knights of the Old Republic.
I'm so glad you put this in the news. I didn't know you did. Thank God. This is awful.
Yeah. The Knights of the Old Republic remake has been delayed indefinitely. Asper Media, the developers of the game, fired the art director Jason Minor and design director Brad Prince unexpectedly, very suddenly. And according to Bloomberg, it's because the demo that they created to show Lucasfilm, be like, this is our progress, here's the demo, was not well received at all.
Yeah. So this is there have been a lot of big HD remake remasters in the last decade or so, right? Asper, now that we're here, Asper was not the right company to make this because they have never made their own game before. They've only ported Knights of the Old Republic to Switch and to like PS4 and PS5. They've never made their own game. They've been working on this game for 3 years, and like I said, Brandon, like they showed Sony, because this is a Sony like marketed thing, like PS5
Showed
exclusive.
Lucasfilm.
Lucasfilm, yeah. They showed Lucasfilm, and the guy said, "This is not up to standards." The quote that really got me was, "The game's supposed to come out end of this year. It's now more likely looking at 2025."
Mm-hmm.
That is a double production length. They've already been working on it for 3 years. That'd be 6 more years. This game is probably not coming out.
Well, they are. So Asper Media has said that they are looking for new directors to replace the 2 that were fired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does not look likely.
So Saber Interactive, which is another game company, which isn't, this does not mean disrespecting anybody who works on video games, but like Saber also is another company that isn't a high pedigree developer. They're going to be coming on to help it. Now, the last time something like this happened was Final Fantasy VII Remake. The original developers of FF7 Remake was Bandai Namco. And after 3 years, they saw a demo and they're like, this is shit. We have to bring it in-house, bring it into Square Enix. And then it took another 3 years to get that game made.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's one of the greatest games ever made.
Right.
So there is a possibility that this game can get salvaged. It's not with the 2 studios who are working on it right now. It simply isn't.
Mm-hmm.
They want a God of War 2018 level quality game from people who have never made a game like this before.
Or Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's not fair to the studio, to Asper, because they were asked to do something
they're not capable
that they're just not capable of. And maybe this was their chance to try to do something like this, but I don't think you do this with not just Star Wars, but one of the most important and beloved RPGs of all time. It's a super big bummer.
I think
It's super big bummer.
I think in general, a Knights of the Old Republic remake is an inevitability.
Yeah.
But I do think that they're at such a point where they understand like it has to be more than the port, because the port is there.
Yeah.
And to get to that level, you're going to need to get a different game studio. And like this is something Lucasfilm, Disney in general has struggled with, getting the right people on their games.
Yeah.
Especially with the Star Wars properties.
I mean, Marvel's Avengers is the same situation.
Because they were trapped in that EA license with Star Wars for a while.
Yeah.
And I think they know that this is a winner if they put it in the right place. And I think it's going to take some time to find that. Frankly.
Yeah. I hope, and again, no offense to Asper or to Saber, but they are port studios, they are smaller studios, and like if you want to make $1 billion game, you got to put the resources behind it. Like
you want the Resident Evil 2 team.
You want
or someone like it.
Honestly, like it's even bigger than that, because KOTOR is a 50-hour
big
epic RPG. So like it's like they want to like, I would say just give it back to BioWare, because they're the people who made it, but BioWare is working on a whole bunch of other shit. So this was the saddest news in a while, because they didn't just say, oh, it's just delayed a little bit. It's like this game might never come out. It might never come together, because 3 years of work is going to get scrapped. And that's like, I feel so bad for that team, man, but at the same time.
And we've lived these kind of long pipelines for some games. Like I said, Knights of the Old Republic, a remake, is inevitable.
Yeah.
It will come one day.
Yeah.
I think it's probably much, much further away.
Yeah.
Closer to like the 2030 range.
It's so sad.
Realistically,
No, for real.
realistically, I think that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, because if you want to, because you can't half-ass a 50-hour RPG.
And I think,
Like-
and honestly, what's going to happen, probably, I think, is that they are going to decide they need to take this to a different team, a different studio that's going to be able to do it the way they want it.
Yeah.
And by the point that they've made that decision, they're also going to decide, we want to make this more canon.
Oh, that's guaranteeing already happening. Absolutely.
It's already happening, but I
Yeah.
think they're going to be like, they're going to reincorporate ground up, like, how do we make this completely like play to the acolyte that's now coming? Like, how do we make it so we can build to what we already know we're doing with Old Republic stuff? How can we tie everything a little cleaner, a little
How
more,
can we
bring the old and the new together?
Mhm.
What you're saying is, how do we cleanly tie the Old Republic to the High Republic?
Yes.
Yeah, because right now there is none. It's
Right.
just like 1,000 years happens, and then it's the High Republic.
Even if there's small things, I think they're going to try and find a cohesiveness. If they're going to take it to another team, they're going to put more money behind making it so like when it drops in like a, you have to play this game
Like
to
Final
know
Fantasy
Star
VII
Wars
Remake.
canon now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already, again, like it's the smallest of things, but they call in episode 9, they say the Revan Corps. Revan's got to show up sometime. You don't use his name without integrating him into canon some way. So I just wish it happened sooner rather than later, because KOTOR is one of my favorite games.
Yeah, I hope they figure this out.
We'll see it in 2029.
Well, no more sad news though. Close enough. Sparks
Oh God, yeah,
canceled after 3 seasons.
yeah, really shitty. Just sucks. What a loss for God, his name is escaping me, but what a loss for the team.
Mhm.
Honestly,
Is this the Olin one or no?
the what?
Olin Rogers one?
No, this is not Olin Rogers.
That's a
that
train one.
already Final
Yeah.
Space that already got kicked.
Yeah.
This
was
is
regular show.
huh?
Regular show.
Yes, the close enough is the adult life kind of
Yeah, I remember now.
version of trying to remember the creator's name because it's like right there. He's the voice of Mordecai and everything.
Hamish.
JG Quintel.
JG
Thank you,
Quintel.
God. JG Quintel's like it's so sad to have watched this show be put on the back burner for like 5 years when it was supposed to come out on TBS at forever ago, and then finally get its HBO Max debut, be successful, get 2 follow-up seasons, and then get nipped. And honestly, probably also for the same reason that Final Space got nipped, which is the merger.
Yeah.
They're just making a lot of decisions right now to kind of ground up. If it's not a super well-established thing, they're kind of restarting a lot of things and reorganizing. And it looks like this is just another show that bit it. Just based on the chatter I've heard around this show. And I know that for a fact with Final Space, because Olin Rogers has been very upfront about the fact that Final Space got kicked to the side because of it got the shit end of the stick through both mergers. And I fear Close Enough has suffered the exact same thing. It's really shitty. Close Enough is fortunately not a show where like, oh man, now I don't get like the Final Space is way more upsetting because that's a narrative driven story. So it's very upsetting that the conclusion of that is not there. Very Metalocalypse feeling in losing that. Close Enough doesn't have that same thing, but it's still a bummer. Like this, it's a very well made, funny show. 3 seasons, a lot of good content, but it deserved more.
Yeah, sucks.
It does suck. I feel for that team. I'm hopeful and optimistic for whatever Quintel does next, and wherever this team goes.
Okay. Well, MGM has also lost the rights to the Tomb Raider franchise.
Yeah, it sucked too.
Just
This one's a bummer.
slipped through their fingers, I guess. A bidding war has begun to claim them, but because of this, the sequel, Tomb Raider 2, with Misha Green and Alicia Vikander, has been canceled.
We're just gonna get another reboot, I guess.
Yep.
I don't have a lot of like. You had me at like that first Tomb Raider film was like good enough.
Yeah.
And you had me at bringing Vikander back and bringing on Misha Green. I was like, I'm there. I'm with you, baby. And now you've kind of completely lost me again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's entirely possible that whoever picks up the rights will go forward with the sequel. It's more likely they'll want to reboot. There is still the Netflix series coming that's set within the game continuity.
The animated one, right?
The animated one, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a bummer.
I want to
MGM
say
has had the Tomb Raider franchise for a while.
the rumor of what the new Tomb Raider game is basically Lara training younger Tomb Raiders, and she's old woman Lara. And I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, that's the trope I love more than anything. I would kill for that.
I think it's really a bummer that Misha Green is so good, and this is the second project we've watched
Lovecraft Country
gets slipped out of their fingers. Yeah, Lovecraft Country.
Yeah. That's a shame.
That they've really put a lot of work into and just had taken away.
I have to imagine whoever picks this up, it's like, y'all seem to know what you're doing. Instead of rebooting everything, let's just continue what was happening to make it easier. That's what you'd hope for. But
Yeah, you'd think. But she still got Black Canary.
She does still have Black Canary.
Oh yeah.
So that's I'm looking forward to that. It's just like Misha Green's clearly so talented and was posting about a lot of work they were putting into not just Lovecraft Country season 2, which got nicked, but this, and sucks that all just might go to nothing.
And she loved the game. She played all the Survivor trilogy before she got this.
It sucks that all the work. It sucks that all the work she puts into this just might never come to fruition.
Yeah.
All right, some good news then. Lilo and Stitch, the live action film. Dean Fleischer Camp, who directed Marcel the Shell with shoes on, is directing.
Haven't seen that movie yet, but it's one of the highest rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's
so
it's encouraging.
Yeah.
Just in the context of like what that movie is, I don't know how much that translates to how good this will be.
Yeah.
But it's certainly like, I'm happy to hear a director I'm interested in watching something from, rather than like someone I don't want on the property.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me, it kind of feels like I haven't seen the, stop looking at me. I haven't seen the dolls. I'm hallucinating a little bit. I haven't seen Marcella Shell with shoes on, but I am very curious about how much Paddington 2 vibes I'll get from it. And so I kind of look at like, that kind of like wholesomeness of Paddington 2 for this. And I kind of feel like, okay, well, if we're going that direction for Lilo and Stitch, I think it could be something kind of special.
Agreed.
This almost feels like if you got the director for Paddington 2 to do Lilo and Stitch,
It's like, just again, going from vibes of what that movie Marcel is, I think this is a good match.
Yes.
I think the emotion, again, this is going to be like a Disney, like how much will they screw with it themselves? Yeah. But I think this is a really good choice. And like, it makes me go like, again, like you said, like more than any other director, I'd be like, okay, like let me see what your vision is.
This is the most interested I've been in this project.
Because I think it's like,
I have a lot of faith in the Lilo and Stitch possibility as a live action project. I think there's a lot you can do to adapt it that makes more sense to me than a lot of the other ones they've chosen.
I agree. Yeah.
Not only for like, just in general, the location and diversity shooting you get to have by making it live action is awesome.
Yeah.
But then just the potential of how you can what you can do with the Lilo and Stitch story as your own project, I think is I don't believe that they're going to go to this as just being one-to-one.
Yeah.
I think this will be something special in its own way. And I always have, and this has always been on my list of like, I think that this and the films around the Lilo and Stitch age make more sense for their live action interpretations.
Yeah. Lilo and Stitch is like, it's almost like a Hawaiian ET. Like it's very easy to adapt.
I am always on board for Disney to take a more Pete's Dragon direction than a Lion King direction.
And that feels like where we're in the ballpark of with something like Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah. That Pete's Dragon remake is very good.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
Mortal Kombat 2 is officially greenlight with Simon McQuoid returning to direct.
Yay.
Cool. I hope that script is a little better.
I sure hope. I don't even remember what the main guy's name is. The actor.
Tony.
I don't know.
Cole.
His name's Cole something.
Troy Baker.
The who?
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker. Armadillo Man. I hope he's maybe not the main character.
Yeah. Luke King should be the main character, guys. What are you doing?
Honestly,
you got a great cast.
Any of them could be the main character. Just make someone who's from Mortal Kombat your main character.
Importantly, I'm just glad that we haven't gone the Power Rangers route. That little tease, we're going to get our Johnny Cage.
We actually are getting Johnny. Yeah. Oh, I'm so.
That's true.
Never got our Green Ranger, but we'll get our Johnny Cage.
I won't say that Mortal Kombat movie is high art or anything, but man, that has some of the coolest kills and some really fun, stupid shit. He's about to get his soul sucked.
It's honestly very much in the Tomb Raider space for me.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it was good enough. I had a great time.
Let's
I
elevate
hope
it.
that we elevate. Yes, exactly. And that's what I was hoping for with the Tomb Raider one. I'm hoping for that with this. So let's
yeah.
let's find out who that script writer is going to be.
For sure.
Kung Lao kills someone with his chainsaw hat.
Hat.
Pretty
Yeah.
great.
Oh yeah.
Can't be
Bring
mad
it
about
on.
that.
Natara, the vampire queen. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Creed spinoff is happening
Hell yeah.
called Drago.
I have not seen Creed 2, but I have seen Creed 1, and it is an exceptional movie. Exceptional.
And I hear Creed 2 is also great, so that's fine.
Creed 2 is very good. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but I do think it's very good.
Man.
Jonathan Majors is in 3.
Oh yeah.
Which is not out yet, right?
Not out yet, no.
Hell yeah. That's
Michael
great.
B. Jordan is directing that one.
Yes, I heard.
I will catch up for Creed 3 when that comes out. Oh yeah.
The second Creed introduces Drago's son, and they go up against each other because Drago killed his dad,
Apollo.
Apollo. So a spin-off film called Drago is coming. Robert Lawton is set to direct. No, sorry, set to write. I could not find anything on this guy's previous credits. Apparently, he's worked a little bit on the Creed films as like maybe a producer. But his last writing credit was in 2012 from a film called Crave.
Okay.
I've
Maybe
not
this
heard
is
of
like his big up and coming. Like it's my time to shine.
Maybe. I'm curious about this one. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to be mined with it. When they were like, we're going to do Creed, I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Creed makes a lot of sense. Apollo Creed was a big role in those movies. You can bring back Rocky as the mentor role. Drago. I'm curious about how much is there to mine there. Especially, we're probably it's probably going to be set all in Russia. I'm curious. I'm interested though.
I would need to see Creed 2 to see the Drago character, because otherwise, like, I just assumed, oh, he's just like a bad guy like his dad, but he's got to have more depth than that if we're giving him his own movie.
He there's not a lot there, but there is more than what they did with his dad.
I will break you.
They also give who plays Drago? Adult Drago. What's the guy's? Dolph Lundgren. Thank you. They gave him a lot to do in Creed 2, which I really liked.
Hell yeah. Oh, I gotta watch that movie now. Yeah.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Aragon.
Yeah, weird. Too bad Ben's not here.
Yeah. Disney
He's the
Plus.
most passionate about this book series.
Disney Plus and 20th Century Television are developing a television series based on Aragon, the Inheritance Cycle.
I have never read the book, seen the movie, not very good. I have people on Twitter are saying in the year of our Lord 2022 that book series is not good. I don't know if that's true. It was written by a child, so I'm just gonna assume that most of those people are right. Like, hey, those books don't age very well because it was written by a 13-year-old.
I mean, most things are. You got to look at them as a vacuum sometimes. But I've never read the book series either, so I can't say. But speaking of the writer, Christopher Paolini is going to co-write the series and executive produce.
Is that the writer of the books?
That's the writer of the books.
Good for him.
There's a possibility, because of exactly what you brought up, that and what you brought up, that this is like, I can kind of come back and do better.
Yes.
And I think that's interesting, because I think the Aragon books are pretty good in context, which is that, as you said, they were written by someone young.
Yeah.
And I think in context, it's rather impressive.
Yeah.
And especially for like the time that it came out and everything, I'm like, this is bold. This is bold that this series was written by who it was and made the impact it did in the time of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I do think there's value to the world and the story that they created. Are they like the most incredible books? Not necessarily. Did they need an adaptation? Frankly, I never felt so. But there's what I'm most intrigued by is that
he's coming back.
Paolini can come back and kind of like, I think I can improve even more on what I started.
20 years later,
yeah. And that leaves room for this to be something really interesting.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Almost if it's like not a reimagining, but like, hey, we're doing this again, but I have 20 years of experience to make it better. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of someone recently did that, where they're they're working on it and they're improving it as they go.
Mm.
And we talk about it. I can't think of the thing for the life
Well,
of
that
me.
was what Robert Kirkman used to talk about the Walking Dead TV show. He looked at it as improving some mistakes he made in the comics. That didn't hold
Invincible. It's
true.
Invincible.
It's Invincible.
Sorry, you brought up Kirkman, and it's Invincible. Invincible is what I'm thinking of, where he's talked about, like, I've come back and I'm retooling the things as I go because I can improve with hindsight of what I want to do with it.
Yeah.
And this could be the same.
Yeah.
Kirkman was the right call. That's exactly what I was trying to think of.
The boys.
Together, he's going to do with Bert Salke, who is also an executive producer on the Percy Jackson series and the Hitman series.
Hitman.
The current Percy Jackson series or the old?
The current Percy Jackson
Hitman.
series.
Okay.
Hitman. What?
We've talked about a Hitman TV series before.
Not in a while. Oh my God.
But yeah, so I do think there's a sense of Disney looking to, we're doing this with Percy Jackson, we'll do this with Aragon.
Sure.
Because they've inherited both from 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, they did. Well, Disney always. I know that 20th Century Fox took the Percy Jackson rights, but Percy Jackson was always in house in a sense because Disney owned the books.
Hyperion.
But I think that there's a more clear path for Percy Jackson adaptation to be beneficial and important for them.
Mm-hmm.
Aragon, I'm a little more like maybe. We'll see.
This to me, not to be too cynical, but this just feels like, Percy Jackson's getting some buzz. Let's do Aragon next.
I found a headline. Agent 47 voice actor says Hitman TV series is dead.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, blames it on COVID apparently.
I think the most appealing part about this is the fact that Paolini could come back and possibly improve on what he did before. Maybe he won't. Maybe it'll be too wrapped up in what it used to be, trying to execute that exactly, and that might not work.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
There's some cool dragon lore stuff in that series. So
bring back John Malkovich.
Avengers: The King Dynasty.
John Malkovich.
He's in the movie.
Is he?
Yeah.
Who's he?
He's the bad guy in the movie.
Oh my god, I don't remember that.
He's
only remember Jeremy Irons. And
oh
Rachel
no, he's
Weisz.
the good. Sorry, Jeremy. I didn't think Jeremy Irons was in it because he's in another bad dragon movie, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
John Malkovich is the good guy. He's like the guy.
No, you're right.
Jeremy Irons trains him. That's who I'm thinking of. Jeremy Irons was in the Aragon movie and trains him, and that's who I remember.
Got it.
I do not remember John Malkovich.
John Malkovich is the bad guy, and he reveals the dragon at the end.
I trust you.
Yeah.
I do not remember it. I watched that movie one time, and it was not good.
Same.
John Malkovich is the bad guy. I forgot about that.
John Malkovich.
Avengers: The King Dynasty. We talked a little bit about it in our Comic-Con episode. Go check that out. We now know who the director of that film will be. Destin Daniel Cretton, the director of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, is going to direct.
This is cool. I am excited. I'm very glad it's not the Russos. I'm really glad that it's a different director for this and Secret Wars.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, they said they were going to look for a different director for Secret Wars, but they're going to film back to back.
I think that's very good, very smart. I really like what Cretton did overall.
Overall,
Shang-Chi.
yes.
There's stuff about the third act I don't like, but I also don't really lay that at his feet.
Yeah.
But those same problems could happen here. But this gives me a lot of faith. What I am kind of bummed about is that this means Cretton's probably not doing anything else in between.
He's not doing the sequel for Shang-Chi,
right?
That's for sure.
Yeah, and that I find a little bit of a bummer.
Well, so he is still, as of now, he is still attached to the sequel and the Wonder Man TV series.
Unofficially?
From
he could be producing it, but
right.
I don't think
that's
directing.
that's what I mean is unofficially. Because
both of those projects are technically not even announced by Marvel at this point.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Is we'll see. I can easily see the path where he ends up not on one of those projects because that's only 3 years from now.
Yeah.
And that scale is I can very easily see that he's going to have to put all his focus on preparing for that. So
there's no time for two movies.
I don't suspect that there's going to be as much of him on the sequel, which is a little bit of a bummer. But I am pleased that he's getting this opportunity.
I will say, I am probably less hot on Shang-Chi than you guys, but I still really like it. I know the action is going to be good at least.
Yes.
If there's one thing he has an eye for, it's great action. So I know the movie's going to look sick no matter what, at least.
Yeah.
He Yeah, it's not even that. It's that he knows to bring in the right people. For Shang-Chi, he brought in really talented action choreographers.
Mhm.
And he'll probably do the same for Kang Dynasty.
Yeah, there's really good potential in this
People
directing.
are speculating, and there's literally no way to like know if this is true, but like people are speculating that it's John Watts who's going to do Secret Wars. I don't know. I would be okay with that. I think that dude, after No Way Home, I think that's a triumph.
You know who I want to do it? I want Jon Favreau.
I have a really hard time believing Watts would do it.
Yeah.
Only because those things are 1 year apart. Fantastic Four and Secret Wars are 1 year.
He's not
apart.
doing Fantastic Four though. Remember, he dropped
That's right.
it.
He did.
No, that's what I'm saying. We are assuming he dropped it to do.
Got it.
They asked him to do the bigger movie.
Got it.
Because
cool.
the line was when he dropped Fantastic Four is that he didn't want to go from a superhero movie to a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I forgot about that. That'd be interesting.
Legitimately, I've been thinking about this a lot. I don't understand. No, that's not true. That's not the way to say that. I want to see Favreau direct an Avengers movie, and I'm surprised he hasn't. I
don't think he wants to.
Back in 2012, I was surprised that regardless, that's what I'm saying. What I would like to see, like back in 2012, I was surprised that it wasn't him doing Avengers. I was happy it was Whedon at the time, but now we've gotten so far where I'm just like, I'd like to see his eye on an Avengers movie.
I'll put it this way:
if he's down to do it, I'd love to.
I'll put it this way: Jon Favreau almost never directs things that he doesn't write himself at this point, and I don't really want him to write it
for sure,
because I don't think he's capable of writing that many characters. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If he's willing to direct it and someone else write it, I'm more on board. But he almost never directs anything he isn't writing himself at this point, and I don't really want him to write an Avengers movie.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like no,
I hear you. I hear you. And there's an amount where I think it makes sense, but I don't. Yeah,
I just want someone fresh. I'm happy with Destin doing King Dynasty, but I really want them to continue to bring in fresh people, especially for these big movies. I
think it should be someone who's worked on not necessarily a Marvel movie, but something of like someone recently was talking about like the loss of the middle movie, meaning we've lost the tier of like filmmaking education, how to use budget and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I like Infinity War and Endgame, and I like the Russo brothers and what they did in a general sense, but I do think that there's an amount of loss of sense of filmmaking graded scale and that understanding. And I do think like having someone who's had more experience with a budget film rather than like throwing somebody into the deep end with Avengers is still the right way to go.
Yeah, that's fair.
Frankly, I think it'd be really cool, but I'm going to wait to see the Marvels to say this 100% if it was Nia DaCosta.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'd like to see that too. I think that's kind of where I'm coming from, of like, because I also remember that discussion of like, we've lost that because we've lost the mid-budget movie. Nobody is learning how to use special visual effects anymore in that kind of way, and so just being jumped into an Avengers movie. So if you get someone like an indie place to do an Avengers movie, I don't want to see that, which is why I think Daniel Cretton is a good choice, because he did Shang-Chi and now he's going into Avengers.
Yes. I think the good example of how that has gone wrong is Colin Trevorrow.
Yes.
Everything that he lost in the sense of how to make a film going from the indie thrown to the blockbusters. He's the perfect example of like how that hasn't worked.
True.
And I do think someone had a great point of like, why did Spielberg become such a great filmmaker for these? Because it's because he did it in pieces slowly in his career. He amped himself up to these things. And I do think Avengers films, specifically Avengers films, would benefit from someone who has at least gone the scale a little bit.
It will never happen, but could you freaking imagine a $250 million Sam Raimi Avengers movie?
Oh my gosh.
It would never happen, but like take what he did on Multiverse of Madness and give it like $100 more million. And I'm like, that's what I want, but that's just like a pipe dream.
See, this to me, that would have been the as we talked about in the Comic-Con special, the Age of Ultron for this time, the in-between Avengers films before you get to your Infinity War Endgame equivalent.
Yeah.
He would have had that film. Yeah. And I think he would have nailed it, because you don't have the full stakes of like the entire universe is riding on it.
Yeah.
But a good Avengers film, yes, 100% I think he could do it.
I just want him to come back in any capacity.
1,000,000%. I think in a similar vein, someone like, again, because I'm only spitballing. These are people who would never in a million years do an Avengers movie, but like James Gunn, I would love to see James Gunn do an Avengers movie. He has mentioned a billion times he's not interested in doing one.
Yeah.
But he is that kind of caliber director. James Gunn, Sam Raimi, Jon Favreau, all these people we mentioned. Like those are the people that I want to see that space. I want to see that space do an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
See, every once in a while, like I think of the Harry Potter movies, and then we had like a bunch of good directors. Then we got like Alfonso Cuarón, who was like, no offense to anyone else, a artsy fartsy director. In the middle of the franchise, you get the one movie that's not like any of the other movies, and I just want that. I want more of that for Marvel. That's why I love Sam Raimi doing Doctor Strange,
because that's what.
That's a really good point, because you had Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus did two of them. He's got a really distinctive voice. Those are great movies. You have Alfonso Cuarón. He's got a really distinctive voice. That's a great movie. And then after that, who directed the rest?
David Yates, mostly.
Who directed 4 though?
God, I forget his name, but I used to know it because I actually kind of like what he did with 4.
Right, but that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. That's where I think the problem lies, is because those films stop having a distinctive visual style,
Mike
like
Newell.
the first 3 did.
Thank you.
Who is it? Mike what?
Mike Newell.
Mike Newell.
Who did 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which is a great comedy.
Yeah, I'd like to see Christopher Columbus tackle a Marvel movie, not an Avengers movie. I'd like to see him tackle a Marvel movie.
I'd be into that.
Yeah.
Have him do Young Avengers.
Oh, hell yeah. All right.
Yeah. I think my overall take is that because those Avengers films are coming so soon,
I bet that changes.
Right, but I mean, like, let's just say the hypothetical of the 3 years from now and the production of it.
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying, like, what we said earlier about Cretin. Same deal with like whoever else steps in. I hope that they have the gap. Like, I hope it's not somebody who's coming in and doing Fantastic Four and then they're being thrown to Avengers Secret Wars, because like you need more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Spielberg would want to go from Fantastic Four to Secret Wars.
Oh God, nothing. Oh my God. Dude, I would lose my mind.
Spielberg doing any of them, Fantastic Four is the one.
It is, yeah. I see the trailer in my brain, and I'm like losing my mind at a fake movie that doesn't exist.
James Cameron is a good example of a director who cut his teeth on smaller budget visual effects films and then
I will tell you who I would flip my shit if he was on Secret Wars for director. And then I want to stop this pontificating because we have a lot to do.
Yeah.
Because he's already in the pocket a little bit. It's James Mangold.
Oh yeah.
Because he's got Indy 5 coming around the corner and he's had that progressional career.
Oh yeah.
He could take Secret Wars and run wild with it.
He's done 2 superhero movies before this, the 2 Logans. Yeah.
The 2 Logans and Indy 5. So he's in the pocket with Disney. And he's had that career.
That would give like the gravitas to like a big Avengers movie too. Ooh, that's a good choice.
God, it might not look like a murky gray.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
trailers. I love talking the MCU with y'all. It's always a good time.
Yeah, that was fun.
Trailers. Sparks, talk about Lock and Key season 3.
Oh shit, I forgot to watch it.
Right. Let's talk about
watching the trailers with Ryan, so I just skipped it because I didn't want him to see it. Look, I'm stoked that show's coming. I like that first trailer. I like those first 2 seasons. Y'all should watch it. It's a great show. Awesome.
I'm coming back to it soon.
A couple weeks ago, the Munsters trailer dropped.
Okay, so I have a take on this that it's maybe me being hopeful and optimistic. So I'll lay that out and then I'll let Ryan say what he wants to say, which is that I think this is a bad trailer on purpose. I think this is Rob Zombie saying, like, going for a vibe of a type of B movie and a type of thing that he knows the monsters existed in. And he's laying that out. And to him, Rob Zombie is the type of person where this could be true and it couldn't be. But where he's saying basically, like, if you're a real one, you know what I'm coming to the table for. And you know why I'm making a trailer like this. And if you aren't, then F you, get out of here. You ain't gonna like it. And that's to say that there's a lot of shots in this trailer where you can't hear what they're saying in the shots. We're hearing the overlay dialogue, but it's not what's in context of the scenes that are interestingly set up. There's something artsy happening there. And I'm wondering if there's more to that story than what we're being fed in this trailer. Because again, I think it's a bad trailer on purpose. That's my read. I could be way wrong. This could just be a bad movie. But I think this is bad on purpose. I think he's obscuring what the film's actually going to be doing.
Yeah.
That's my take. And I will acknowledge it's me being optimistic.
I we're both big Rob Zombie fans here of his filmography. I want to believe, like just like the X-Files, I want to believe everything my friend Sparks here is saying. This just, and Rob Zombie said like, hey, this is the cheapest movie I ever made. Like this is what it looks like, and like I don't think it looks visually appealing. There's a difference between like being a low budget movie, and this looks like I could have shot this on my iPhone. Like it's a type of cheap where I'm like, did you have to go this cheap? That's why like I think Sparks might be on something. Like there's something that they're not showing us about this movie. There has to be, otherwise like this looks bad. Like this does look bad. The acting is very over the top, but again, like, you know, the 60s monster stuff, like they're doing on purpose. I get that. But generally, like, I like Rob Zombie's trailers, and like I see what he's trying to go for. I just don't know if it worked. I just don't know if it works, and I need to see the full movie to really see it, because like I'm not seeing it in this trailer.
There's something in those visuals of that again, like we're not hearing the context of these scenes. There's something about like the story of Herman and her falling in love.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's going to be the heart of the movie, and that might actually be good, because he's doing all these interesting setups of shots and things. Like, what is Herman doing on that plane? Like,
why is he an astronaut?
What are all of these things? And I'm like, there could be something really rich here that I don't think the trailer is showcasing, and I do think it's on purpose.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I will say, for me, I like the color. The color is really distinct and popping, both in lighting and the design of the characters, and I'm appealed to it. But I really want to believe it's a bad trailer on purpose. I really do.
I do agree with the colors. Like I liked how like it reminds me of like the Universal classic monsters in their full color.
Yeah.
Like it is very vibrant, for better or worse, with how like the cinematography is. But they're definitely going for a bright color, and something Rob Zombie doesn't really do. He's a rated R, dark, gory man, and he's really trying something he's never done before, which is really cool. And I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
The one thing I will take away from it is that, because I think this is a bad trailer on purpose, I also think this is a B movie on purpose, but I don't think that means that it's devoid of something that could be good.
Yeah.
So I'm holding out hope that there is still something that's genuinely more.
I've liked more Rob Zombie movies than I've disliked. So like I want to believe. And it probably is like a bad movie on purpose, but unfortunately I don't think the trailers help show that it's a good version of that, you know?
I didn't like his second to last film much at all.
Was it Lords of Salem? Or
that was 31.
31, gotcha.
I was not very there are things I liked about it, but overall I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And it deserves a rewatch, but there's stuff about it that just doesn't work for me.
Okay.
And then I never heard anything particularly good making me want to watch The Devil Rejects follow up, which I still want.
I was about to say The Devil's Rejects.
No, because I never felt like you should have revisited them. 3 from Hell.
No, because spoiler, they die at the end of that movie.
and I don't. There was never anything that made me feel like, oh, I need to go watch 3 from Hell.
No,
from what I heard, and I still need to give it a chance. So I can't say I don't like it.
We'll watch it,
but I'm nervous about it.
We can watch it one day.
So we'll see. He might have lost some of his touch. We'll see. I don't know.
True.
That's enough about the monsters. Unless Brandon wants to say something cool about it.
This movie was never going to appeal to me.
Fair enough.
Interview with the Vampire. This is actually the only Comic-Con news we have today.
Interview with the Vampire. This looks like a cool, different approach to doing the book.
This is a more
from the film.
I haven't read the book, but people online are saying this looks like a more accurate portrayal. Actually.
Yes, it does, and it looks like it's going to go for like some of the homoeroticism to it as well.
And
they said at the panel that the subtext between the two has been made text.
Yeah, and I think that's good.
Yeah. I love that original movie, that 94 Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, young Kirsten Dunst movie. Excellent movie, but it is very much subdued because it came out in the 90s and you can't be gay on screen.
And Anne Rice is sexual as hell. So
bro,
she is that movie so
she is an ally.
So yeah.
And they take away that allyship in all of her stuff.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I think it looks great. And it's got a worm, a gray worm from Game of Thrones. I really like that actor. I think it visually looks really great, and like I like a good period piece with vampires. Like I think it's shot really well, looks really pretty. I feel the sensual like sexuality in this trailer. And that was very appealing to me. Like, man, like this is a sexy show.
Yeah. I think there's a lot that they can do with this, so I'm happy for them.
And they said it's the first entry in the something universe, but they are going all in on all of Anne Rice's.
Yeah, there's a lot of books and books that are in the series and then are interconnected to the series, and Anne Rice has written a lot of stuff. So frankly, I was a little surprised that it's taken us long to get to really expanding on what Anne Rice has offered. Famously, there's actually some really great comics adaptations of her books that are out there. I'm glad that it's coming at a time where they can really bring the subtext to the text, as you said, Brandon.
Yeah, and it being a TV show, they could really like expand and go into all like the stuff that like the movie
And
just
these
couldn't.
characters.
And
Yeah, because these characters are rich.
Yeah.
Orphan first kill.
I like the trailer. It seems well shot.
Yeah.
I agree with Ryan in what he said when we watched it, that it feels more or less like it might just be retreading. Just how valuable is it to know the twist already?
I haven't seen Orphan.
I think it's great. I think it's legitimately like really, really good. I think the twist is great. I think all the characters are great. The thing about this being a prequel is like we know the twist, and this just looks like we're kind of redoing the first movie, just more of it, which isn't a bad thing. Like it could stand on its own as like a fun, good horror movie.
You can put a lot of tension in for, you kind of have to see it. I'm not going to ruin it for you, Brandon, but you kind of have to see the original for this film to work.
Yeah.
Because it seems the point is for you to know what the twist is and that build the tension of it.
I think it's worth watching. I think it's pretty good.
It's possible that they've utilized that well. It's also possible that it might just feel like rehash.
Yeah. Like the things like in this trailer, it's a lot of like there's like a what's it called, blacklight painting stuff, which is a big reveal in the first movie, and they're kind of just showing it in this. So like there's a lot of stuff that I'm like,
they're playing all the clues.
They're playing the greatest hits of the first movie, kind of. So like I really got to see like, did you have an actual story to tell? Did you just want to make another one? And right now it kind of seems like they just wanted to make another one, which again, it could be a fun second story, but I don't see much being added. But it's got Julia Stiles, and I'm a big fan of her. I like her. So
it's a prequel, but is it the same girl who played the orphan in the first film?
Yep. She's got the aging going on her face.
Oh, does she? I thought she looked weird.
Yeah.
Your
mileage may vary on how much you thought they should have gone for that or not.
Yeah.
All right, bodies.
I liked the energy of the first trailer more, but I feel like I have a better understanding of who our characters are from this one.
Yeah. I was actually more interested in this one because I got to know a bit more of the characters, and it didn't feel like they were just kind of like, "Woo, party, we're all gonna die." It felt like there was more there now. I also didn't realize that the girl from Borat 2, Mia Bakalova, was in this.
Oh, is she?
She's the new girl.
Oh, cool. Right
on. I've heard a lot of good buzz, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I love the cast. I do think the first trailer is like a better like punch trailer, like, yo, this is what the movie is, but this one definitely does like introduce you to the characters and stuff. I'm still definitely interested. Is this a movie or a Hulu thing?
Movie.
Okay, cool. I really like Pete Davidson. I'm a big fan of that guy. He's just a goofy goober, so like I'll support that guy. Lee Pace is in it too. Yeah.
Pearl.
Ooh, this is a prequel to a movie none of us have seen.
Yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't watched it, but it's okay. I need to see X.
Yeah.
This looks cool. I need to see X.
I don't understand. Obviously, I haven't seen X, so I don't understand the connection, but I thought this looked really great.
It's the main girl from that movie is the main character in this movie.
I didn't want you to tell me.
But no, she's in the poster. I've never seen the movie either. She's on the poster for X.
Why didn't I didn't wait, the main girl from X is a different girl, I thought.
No, you're not. Yeah, you're not the main girl. The woman who's living in the house.
Oh yeah,
that they go to.
She's one of the stars of the movie.
Yeah, she's not the main girl because the main girl is the younger sister from.
Wait, is the girl that we're following in this movie? Is she the old lady in X?
Yes.
Oh, see, that's what I didn't want to know.
She's not the old lady. She's just in it.
Isn't she the old lady?
No, she's the same. She's like a couple years older in X. This is the same.
This is what happens when you haven't watched a movie.
Yeah, she is just a character in that movie, and now she's getting a prequel, which kind of reveals, I guess, what the movie's about in the first one.
Samaritan.
Oh, it looks cool and colorful.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
I want to watch it, but I also want to watch X.
Yeah.
Samaritan looks to me like a higher budget, slightly less story stuff arch enemy.
Hancock.
Yeah. There's some cool action moments for sure.
I'll wait for reviews. I am interested in watching a old Sloan's been an old man forever. But watching like old man superhero like coming out of retirement. Like I always dig that story when done well. But I'll wait for some reviews for this one.
The kid was in Umbrella Academy season 3 this year.
Ooh, good for him.
He's good in that. Yeah, I've been interested in this one for a bit. I was, to be honest, a little disappointed finally seeing the trailer because I heard this was coming out about 3 years ago, and it was Stallone. I actually thought Arch Enemy was this when we first saw the trailer for Arch Enemy. So seeing this now, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, it looks all right. I hope there's more to it.
Judging from the trailer, it doesn't look like.
Yeah. They/them.
I just want to see this movie. I'm ready for it. I think the trailer is a little heavy-handed. Like, hey, do you get how clever the name is? Yeah, no, I do. You don't need to explain it. I get it. But
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, but like all the actors look great. I like that it's full on like this is a conversion camp. Bad shit happens. We don't want you to be gay. And then and the gay people are the heroes. Like I think that's fantastic. I'm glad it didn't reveal a lot like who the killers could possibly be. I think like the killer's mask is very cool. It's like a half and half, like almost Two-Face looking face. I'm very interested in this. I really hope it's good.
I like this trailer quite a lot. A lot. I'm excited for this.
They/them.
Also coming out August 5th, which is next week.
It is.
That's wild.
Day Shift.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx. This looks really fun.
Yeah, combined with the behind the scenes thing that we watched a while back, I have confidence that this is going to be a good action time.
Yeah.
I like the energy between Fox and Franco, so I'm more or less hot for this, hoping it's going to land well.
Good vampire kills, some really fun looking decapitations. So yeah, at least the action will be hot. That's true.
Looks it's got some at least funny dialogue in some places. I laughed each time I watched the bit when he goes, everybody pisses their pants the first time. Well, no, but you did.
Yeah, I didn't, but you did.
I thought that was really funny. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I think it looks really inventive and it's not the director of John Wick, but it's one of the choreographers on the film. One of the stunt people on the film is directing it.
The people who taught him how to kick ass.
Yeah.
And Chad Stahelski is producing it, and so like I'm excited. I hope
he's a producing king.
They seemed very confident with like how much of the action was real and how much of it they were doing. Like we saw the contortionists in the featurette, we saw the motorcycle chasing and all that. All that's so real, and they were very focused on doing as much real action as they could. And the movie seems to have a fun energy, so I'm pretty stoked. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love the idea of like the vampire market, the underground market for just I got vampire thing for you. Yeah.
Bounty hunter.
How much is that worth?
Halloween Ends.
This trailer is fine. I am.
Can we talk about how good the Instagram marketing is though?
The Godzilla versus Kong thing I was absolutely afraid of after Halloween Kills.
Oh yeah.
We talked about this on the Instagram thing where it's like Michael Myers, Laurie Strode, like Clash of Titans.
Her face comes from the shadows. The saga ends, and it's literally like a boxing match between two 7-year-olds.
I think I am nervous that what was good about Halloween 2018 was that it wasn't about Michael Myers versus Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode just thought it was. And what I fear is that Halloween Ends might be saying, nah, it's about Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers. But
that's what Halloween Kills. That's what Halloween Kills was also. It was walking that line, right? It wasn't explicitly saying it wasn't, but it wasn't explicitly saying it was.
Right. Well, and that's the whole thing is like, if this film is all about Laurie still making it like, she's now making it about her because of, I'm not going to spoil the movie for people who still haven't seen it. But for how Halloween Kills ends and she's making it about
personal.
I don't mind that. But I hope there's something else to the film than just that. I hope this isn't just Laurie strode out to catch Michael.
Yeah.
And that's the movie.
I am a little less hot on this trailer because like I know we've been doing this for 40 years, but like the heavy marketing of like it's time for the saga to end. I'm like, I don't feel like it's like a nine episode like mega series. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like they're putting very finality to like make it seem like it's really important. Not that it's not, but I don't like the boxing match type of marketing it's doing. Also, I've heard some early rumblings from people who've seen the movie, and the new stuff in the movie is apparently really, really bad. And it takes away from Michael and Laurie. And I'm really worried. I really hope it's not true. I pray it's not true, because this trailer was like, oh yeah, maybe this movie's not going to be good. Oh, that's a bummer. Because I'm not as hot on the last one.
I think all of us agree that we really did not like the last Halloween.
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, I like the last one a lot.
Except for
until
the
the
ending.
last 5 minutes or so.
It's a ball buster.
There's a
of an
lot
ending.
I like about that second one until the end.
There's a lot that I've soured on, I think, perhaps, because like the whole
mob mentality
thing was so poorly handled.
Sure.
I just don't think that worked very well.
What if we're the monsters?
And honestly, like now with this trailer here, I'm wondering if like it was a mistake to do that in that movie and not make that this movie.
Yeah.
The town looking for Michael after everything he did.
True.
Because like, I think that's the thing. We murdered so many townspeople trying to catch Michael
There's like a
in
group
Halloween
fight.
in Halloween Kills. He killed so many people in the town. This feels like the movie where like, why are we focused on just Laurie's revenge? This is the town's revenge on Michael.
Yeah. Why do people still live here?
Real quickly, I've been looking at Mag's comment suspiciously. They both acted by the same actress talking about Pearl, and I looked it up, and yes, Mia Goth plays two different characters in Pearl and X.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
But
so
she's in both movies.
But she is in both movies, but she plays a different character.
I need to watch the movies.
Yeah.
I just need to watch them.
That means nothing to me anymore.
But yeah, Halloween Ends. I want to be hopeful. Jamie Lee Curtis has a lot of passion for it, cares about it.
Yeah.
Wants this to land for the fans, wants this to land for her. Said that the end of Laurie's story here is very profound and emotional to her.
I'm glad.
So I hope that reflects well in the film and lands for the audiences. But I'm nervous as shit.
I'll tell you what, when we get a second trailer and they reveal more of the story, and if I see some of the stuff that I heard in the rumors, then I will not have a good feeling about this movie.
I did not get as pumped from this trailer as I did for the first one for Halloween Kills. I'll say that.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, the first one for Halloween Kills is very good. It's the one where she's on they're going away and then the fire engines come, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good trailer.
Let 'em burn!
Don't worry, darling.
Man, this movie looks so good.
This was like my favorite. I think the first trailer, it's a more like tone piece trailer, but I love that first trailer, and this one definitely gives you a little more like kind of what's going on.
Yeah,
but not really. I'm still 100%, 2,000% into this movie.
Yeah,
so hard. I think it looks super creepy, super ethereal. Like what is real, what's not real. Very like 21st century Stepford Wives.
Yes.
Good for Olivia Wilde doing a big crazy sci-fi movie. Big Harry Styles mood that I'm in this year.
Very, very good cast.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm stoked for where this put Chris Pine very clearly.
Oh yeah, he looks super sinister.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister.
I thought this looked really, really great.
Chris Pine would be a great Mr. Sinister.
He actually, him and Horrible Bosses.
Yeah,
is really good.
Yeah, I was really stoked for this from the first trailer. This trailer doesn't give us any more, really. We just still don't know what's going on. And I'm really happy about that. And I just think it all looked very intriguing and very ethereal, and it's just something that I'm super stoked to see.
This also has one of my favorite posters that's out there for a movie in a while. If you haven't seen it, it's the Harry Styles and Florence Pugh like at the car, she's kissing him, it's the nice home, and it's the bright blue sky. But if you go all the way to the top of the poster, then it's water with a plane crashing into it.
That's good.
And it's such a evocative but very vague and abstract poster. I think it's very good.
The thing, I'm not worried about this movie at all, but like it's clearly like there's a hidden secret or like a twist. They're like, oh, what is the Victory Project? And I hope that's like satisfactory.
They all have the same How I Met My Husband story.
Yes.
And when she reveals that at the dinner table and they're all the wives are really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this really is like modern Stepford Wives, where like, oh, they're all robots or something. Yeah, they're all clones.
They've all been tricked into the project.
Yeah, brainwashed.
Sorry, I guess I cut out. Pinocchio.
This looks so good.
I love that he's an actual wooden boy, like straight up just woodman. Love it.
I love the vibe. I love what it looks like Del Toro's putting on display here. I think it looks really good.
I think the music's really nice too.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's like very distinctly like, no, this is a Del Toro movie. Like, we're not redoing Pinocchio. Watch that Tom Hanks movie.
And very colorful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this looks gorgeous. I'm really excited for this.
I love the interpretation of the blue fairy.
Yeah.
They look cool.
Big blue fairy.
Ewan McGregor is the only voice we hear in this, right?
Oh yeah, and there's something. No, I think we do hear another voice because we hear the blue fairy.
Do we?
Because they say like, oh yeah, you're the wooden boy blessed with a soul or something like that, and they also say like, I feel as if you've been here before.
It's
and I'm interested I'm interested if they are doing like a slight repetition thing, and it's like, stay with him, make him happy, and I'm like, oh, what is this?
Geppetto's done this before.
Yeah,
because it's the idea of Pinocchio being Geppetto's reincarnated dead son.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Get ready for extra sadness.
Okay, shall we do our main topic?
It's time to get stranger about these things.
Play our main topic, then play our book club.
Book club.
Book club.
Book club. Oh, didn't see you there.
It didn't go right away. I don't know why.
No, that's cool. Those are both two lovely themes by Jeremy Vellucci. Hey, hope you enjoyed that music minute. All right, friends, we're here to talk about Paper Girls.
May I ask, can I bounce real quick?
Yeah.
I'm not feeling very good. I need to take some medicine. I'll be back soon.
Sure. Okay, sounds good. Sure. We'll sit here.
Oh, okay. Bounce.
Yeah, bounce.
Okay.
All right. So we're talking Paper Girls. We're going to talk about Volume 1, which is the first 5 issues of the show. And we're going to talk about You and Me. We're going to talk about the first episode / you 2 episodes.
I watched 2 episodes.
Of the Amazon Prime adaptation, Paper Girls. It is out now.
It is Sunday. This came out on Friday. So unfortunately, I don't think we had enough time.
It was a busy weekend.
It was a busy week, and like they released that whole season at once. And sorry, y'all, that's a lot of shit to watch in a day or two. So I got 2 episodes in only.
Yep, I only got 1.
Yeah. Well, what do you wanna? I forgot. It's been so long since we've done this. Do you want to start with
we kind of like
just back and forth?
So
this is gonna be weird.
Let's start with the comic.
Spoilers for the comic, because the comic goes further, but also at the same time, the show and the comic are doing different things while doing the same thing.
Yeah, this tends to happen a lot with
which is fun. I love the comic. I think the comic, I was reading this when it originally came out, and I dropped it after the first volume just because 5 years ago there's a lot of comics coming out.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love the art. Cliff Chang is incredible. I think it being, a fun 80s story that takes place in the future, it's really fun. Dinosaurs show up, Future Speak shows up, cool teenage mutant boys show up, teenage mutant ninja boys show up. I had a great time with the first volume for sure.
I think the comic is really inventive.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff going on really works for me.
Yeah.
I like the kind of bewilderment of how and what is happening. And I think it's very like you're unfolding the layers very well as you're going through the comic. And I think that works a lot. Because I like I mentioned this to you, that this sense of like they're slowly learning that there's 2 factions kind of doing something and don't know who to trust and all that. And I think that all is like really peeling apart very well in the comic. And I really like the art.
Yeah, Cliff Chang is an incredible artist. I love his work.
I think where the show improves, let's do that first. I think where the show has a advantage that the comic didn't is the diversity, specifically like focusing on Aaron, focusing on the way Aaron is. I think that has added something to the characters that is not as present in the comic.
So I think all the characters are translated pretty much 1-for-1 except Aaron. Aaron is definitely more conservative and passive, being the way that she was raised by her strict mother.
Yes.
Which I think is a benefit to the show. Yeah.
And that and the treatment of the new girl thing works a little more in the context of the show, where she has not engaged a lot with neighbors because there is this presupposition of who she is and what her role is.
Racist shit.
Yeah, like all the racist shit.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that you also can have, what I think the show's done well is having her, and her stuff is very prominent. And there's also a black girl now on the show, and her stuff,
Tiff, yeah.
her awareness of racism is present and prominent, but it's not treated the same.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, we both understand, or we both are going through the same exact kind of thing. And it's not treated that way.
KJ is more like her Jewish religion is represented more in the show,
Yes.
which is really nice, which is really cool, and it really gives distinct personalities and visions of who all these characters are
And backgrounds. Yeah.
and backgrounds. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. I think so too. For me, where the show, it's one episode.
Yeah.
I think it races to the hook twist, which I understand that we get to at the end of the 5th issue, which is encountering future selves.
I was so surprised how quickly and how far apart those things happened.
Yes.
In the show and comic.
Yeah. And so I think it's racing to that. And in racing to that, I think we lose that sense of like, for me, it's the beat that's missed in the show that I really like in the comic, which is when they encounter one of the white-coated guys from the future after they've encountered the other people.
Yeah.
So you are meant to suppose those guys are bad guys. The white-coated people are the good people.
Yes.
Even as you have watched them also destroy other kids. But there's something like, he takes the translator out and he's like, locals, you must not, this must be so bewildering to you. I feel for you. And
the kids have no information.
Then the other kids show up, kill him, and they're like, oh my God, he was going to help us. Like, what are you doing? And there's that distrust that they have to get over. You lose that vibe totally with the show. And the way they pulled that apart piece by piece, I thought was really good in the comic. And I think you lost some of that dynamic in the show.
Yeah, I agree.
And the sense of like technology and just awareness superiority that exists between the older white-coated folks and the kids from the other time, because the kids are speaking something they can't understand at all, and they need to take the translator to talk to the girls. The other ones are speaking something you can kind of understand a little. You get the idea of what they're saying, but the translator makes it clearer.
I absolutely love in the comic, and I hope it shows up in the show, because episode 2 they kind of get rid of it, but the people from the future, they talk in slang Shakespearean.
Yeah.
And I loved reading it, because if you read it, you can understand what they're saying. Almost like when you're reading Shakespeare, you're like, this isn't the same vocabulary, but I'm getting what you're putting down.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was so fun. Then combining words, saying for ARE, like we're going to, or like, are you going somewhere? It's just a letter R.
Yeah.
Or like, A, what up? And I'm like, I love future slang. I think it's such a cool idea that is not in the show, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 2 features a lot more of the white-coated villains, but unfortunately, this isn't a spoiler. Like, they're just kind of generic. Like, we're here to stop these guys. Like, there's not a lot of personality with the main villain, which is such a bummer. It looks like the thing that I don't think it's a negative on the show, because you're adapting it, right? But going from the comic book, where it's very big in scale, you got dinosaurs, you got mutants, you got all this shit.
You got big eyeball.
You got big eyeball, like beholders from Dungeons and Dragons. That's all gone. It is a considerably smaller show, which again is not a bad thing. The thing that I am really positive on is the character stuff, because in episode 2, at the episode 1, we meet older Aaron. Episode 2, it's mostly older Aaron talking to younger Aaron. And there's written by Christopher Cantwell. God, love him. The character stuff in the show is exceptional. Between the main characters, the villain stuff's kind of generic, which is unfortunate. But the main character stuff I think is great, and I think all the characters are really well represented, even more so than the comic.
Brandon, welcome back.
Hi.
Let's hear some takes.
No, sorry, I was not feeling good.
No, it's okay, dude. You're dealing with stuff. It's okay.
How many episodes did you guys get through?
1, 2,
3.
Great. I love it.
I am kind of indifferent on both.
On both?
On both the comic and the show.
Interesting.
Ooh. All right. Let's start with comic.
Well, I read. So I read the first volume is the first 5 issues, right?
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so I read all that, and I like it. I gotta know where I don't know how I feel about it unless I keep going with it.
Sure.
It's not necessarily like a I dislike it or I like it kind of thing. It's just kind of like a I'm intrigued by what the story is progressing, but I need to know more before I know whether or not I like it. And I had the same problem I'm doing with the show. Now the show, you're right, Ryan, is much smaller scale. The third episode doesn't change that, except the third episode teases something huge. And I do want to watch the fourth episode to see if that's the one that gets me like hooked. But so far I'm not. I just kind of I need to get through what both stories are telling me in order to know whether or not I'm enjoying them.
That's fair, I guess. Yeah.
While you were away, I told Ryan that for me, I feel like the first episode rushed to get to the older version for the hook at the end of the episode, and we breezed past a lot of the like confusion that I really like in those first 5 issues of the comic between the two factions and like what's going on. Specifically, I highlighted the moment where they encounter the guy with the translator, and he says he's going to help, and then they take him out, and then they're like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And I think we just clipped through that a little too quickly. I liked living in the disorientation of the girls figuring it out.
Yeah.
Because the first volume ends with them meeting older
Aaron.
You're right, and I think the book does give you a bit more of a sense of what the pink sky is supposed to represent, whereas the show doesn't.
I told Ryan this too. Like, I'm a little disappointed in the budget of the Paper Girls show, only in the sense that like clouds are an easy thing to do, and you change the color and like. I liked the bright pink star sky,
the cosmos.
I really enjoyed that. I thought it kept everything in this sense of like kind of still night, and in the show it just feels like a pink wash to me, and it loses some of its spectacle for the girls and the implication of this like eternal night that it feels like they're living through.
There's an understanding problem that I have. This is a personal thing, not anything on the story, where I don't really understand what the point of what's happening in 1989 is in the comic, or frankly the show. But the show, they rush you so quickly out of it. I don't even have this. I don't even have the opportunity to be confused about it. But the comic, people, they're erasing people in 1989. They're just like, oh, you're gone. Oh, you're gone. Oh, we're just here. What? Like, I don't know what I'm confused as to what they're doing. And I know that's the point. I'm not saying it's a negative on the story.
Sure.
And then there's there is something that, however, I liked about it that I missed in the show, which was that the white coated people who we know are villains in the show right away, we don't know are villains in the comic.
Yeah. That's the thing where like there are two aspects of the comic I love. It is the kids, and then it's all the crazy future shit, which includes dinosaurs, the apple, the old man grandpa leader, like teenagers are the enemy. The show is only giving me one part of that. It's the villain stuff is not, it's not that it's not working for me. It's just, it's so generic. It's just really generic. It's just like, hey, we're the bad guys. We know we're the bad guys in episode 2. The thing that really bums me out is, and you can just tell me, Brandon, because like it's not going to be a big spoiler, but like the thing that I love about the first volume of the comic is we spend a lot of time with the mutant teenagers. And my favorite line in the entire volume, and I tweeted it, but I thought it was so funny. It's like, it's the old timers. They're going to ground us. Holy shit. We're going to have to break curfew. It's like their life and death situation is talking as teenagers.
Yeah.
And there is none of that shit in the show at all. And I don't know if they show up at all in episode 3. Like they kind of die in episode 1. So
no, they replace a lot of that exposition with a new character who is probably in the comic, but we don't meet him in the first volume. We don't meet him in the first volume, but in the third episode, he basically. Do you want me to tell you what the exposition is in the third episode?
No.
Okay.
I want to know if the mutants were coming back. That's all I cared about.
No, and also like we get a fairly good look at the teenagers. They're not as deformed as they are in the comic.
When you,
No.
just to bring it up, like I think they do a really good job in the comic with when Mac sees them for the first time, and it kind of Mac has been the tough one up
Yeah.
until that point, and in the show, it's a blink and you miss it, and honestly, it's not even that good of a look at their face when
Yeah.
Mac has the reaction.
Yeah.
And so, like, what was up with their face? And I'm like, I don't know,
I didn't
didn't
see it.
see anything wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
It was very quickly shot. Yeah.
it wasn't well executed in its delivery of like their encounter with them and how that affected Mac, and like so thus Mac's unraveling. The actor for Mac, I felt, had some of the weakest moments, maybe because they're the most stereotypical. They have to be on a certain level, but like it's something in the performance is not always working for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a lot of Mac's performance that I really don't like.
I think all three of the other female young girl actors are very good. I really like KJ in the show already in episode 1. I just really like her. I think she's doing a great job.
Yeah, I really like KJ as well. One of the things I've been trying to say, so I remember, is the go back to the we think that the bad guys are the good guys. We're not sure who the bad guys are in the volume at first. And one of the things that I really liked about that is that the first person that they meet who talks to them from the future says, "Oh, you're just kids. We're gonna help you. We'll fix your friend up. Don't worry about it. Well, this will be okay." And he seems sincere about it. Like he's like, "We want to be." He translates it like, "You're gonna be okay. We're gonna make this better for you." And I missed that in the show.
Yeah. It sounds like continuing on from episode 2 to episode 3, the villain stuff doesn't really get any better, which is a bummer. Because like
there's not a lot of it in episode 3.
That's so crazy to me because like that is what's so fun about the comic. It's you have these adults speaking slang, writing dinosaurs. Like I'm like again like
we do get a reference that they feed people to dinosaurs, but we don't see them.
Okay, that's fair. That's fine. Okay.
I think with the Paper Girls show being a show, I wish that the incremental steps of the girls going through things felt a little cleaner than it does in the first episode. Just of like them bonding through moments. And also I really want to highlight it. I only watched 1 episode, so I'm only going to focus on certain things, but I don't like the change that Mac is not wrestling with her stepmom for the gun.
Yeah, I think this.
I think Mac just having the gun and then the other girl coming in and that making it go off. And also that part is shot really poorly because that gun is nowhere near pointed down this way. It's up.
It definitely was up.
When it goes off. That didn't execute well to me. I like it far better in the comic where she's afraid the stepmom's going to do something.
Gonna shoot herself.
Most of the changes that the show makes in the comic, I'm pretty indifferent to. I think that they're fine in both adaptations. The gun one is one that I feel that way for. There is a change though. I want to highlight that I really liked from the comic to the show. I actually really like how we spend time with the girls, all 4 of them before they come together.
Yeah.
Before they come together, I really liked the first episode up until the walkie-talkie gets stolen, because that's where I think everything starts to like rush to the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Up until that point, I think it's taking its time. We're getting to know the girls better. It's establishing who they are. There's some good character beats. I think that's all good stuff, and I kind of wish we kept that pace going the entire first episode.
I agree.
Yeah, in episode 2, like they're definitely expanding on all the character stuff, which is good because TV show you have a lot more time to do that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, you're fine. I think I already told him this, so I can tell you this. Like, I think the change to Erin is better for the show. I think she's a more defined character, being a Chinese child raised in 80s America, where like her parents are very strict, like she's very sheltered from the world. I think that's a better character. Not that the comic's bad, but the character in the comics kind of like, wow, isn't this neat? Wow, this is cool. Like she's kind of like a generic girl as opposed to the rest of the crew who are more defined. So I really like the show. They are so much more defined as people.
I agree with that completely, and I really like the interactions between her and her adult self.
Yeah.
The like all of them, I thought the 2 of them act very well together. There's like, can you imagine if your younger self came to you and was disappointed in you,
That is,
I think is really great work.
yeah. So as much as I lament like losing some of the bigger scale stuff in the show, like again, like at the end of the day, I'm here for character stuff. So like having like a 10-minute scene where you're just like, why did I turn into such a jerk? Why am I so awful? Why
Where are
didn't we
my
do
4
this?
kids? Why
Where
am
are
I
my
not a
kids
lawyer?
and my husband? And why aren't we friends with my sister? And older Aaron's like, life isn't how you think it's gonna be. And she's like, I'm gonna grow up to never be you. Like, bitch, you are me. You can't help it. Like, that is so juicy. And if that happens throughout the entire show, then I will be happy with it. Losing the dinosaur stuff.
Is episode 3 the mall scene?
I only watched 2, so I don't know.
Sorry, is episode 2 the mall scene?
I don't
Is there
think
a
so.
mall scene in episode 2? Then never mind.
No,
I
no,
won't
no.
talk about it. I'll talk briefly. There's going back to because like I think all the girls are great, but there's a lot in episode 3 that really frustrated me about Mac, and Mac has such a chip on her shoulder, that everything that's happening, there's a sense of like, I get the impression that there is character development in the writing from Mac, but it's not. No, you know what? I'll reverse that. I get the sense that there's character development, like the actress wants to develop the character, but in the writing, they just want to keep that chip on her shoulder as long as possible, stubbornly so. That just keeps rearing its ugly head at I don't think a good point in the script. And that's something that frustrated me for all 3 episodes.
I definitely, I'm probably the hottest on. That's a weird thing to say. I think Mac, like, I don't have as much problem with Mac as y'all, but I am starting to notice if it continues, like, she's not going through an arc yet. She's just being an asshole, just to be an asshole. And like, we're not getting enough from the comics. Like, the comics showed us like why Mac is the way she is. Like, I don't think we're getting enough of that in the show yet. So I'm hoping by episodes 3, 4, 5 that she'll start to have an arc. Because otherwise, just her being an asshole the entire time will start to even drain on me.
There was another change to the. Well, it's not really a change. It's such a blink and you miss it that Aaron has a sister.
She's not really.
In the show,
in the show, and so like in the second episode when she's just like, oh, Missy's probably home. I'm like, who the hell is Missy?
Yeah.
Why did they keep talking about this woman named Missy?
Yeah, I had to.
It was
remember from the comic like that she had a sister.
Yeah, because they don't execute on that well in the show, and it was weird to me that we did the Ronald Reagan dream, but not the dream that involved Missy.
Yeah, I was surprised about that too.
In the show,
God, the tree of knowledge, that spooky opening scene.
Yeah, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And it like informs on something about Aaron very quickly. Whereas in the show, like the Ronald Reagan dream feels just a little odd.
If it happens really early as opposed to like the comic, and I feel like we should have probably. I think they did it so early just so you know, like, hey, this is the 80s. Make sure you know it's the 80s. And I'm like, okay, no, I get it.
Yeah,
you made it clear it's the 80s. I've seen Stranger Things.
Also, I liked how the teenagers died better in the comic.
Sure.
That's a really cool way to go.
Yeah. I really hope we get. It really feels like it's not gonna happen, but like I really am sad that there's not gonna be any more of the mutant teenager stuff because like their whole thing of like. Travelers, do you even know what that means? Like, I think that stuff is really cool. And then like, we kind of just found this ship and we're kind of just using it. Like, we're not really like anyone special. We're just trying to survive. Like, I think that's awesome.
I guess my general overall impression of the show is that it feels like the cast is there, but the budget isn't.
Yeah. And it's so surprising because like The Boys is like their biggest hit. Like, and what I love about the script for the most part, it's almost like a direct adaptation of the comic. There are so many, especially I watched episode 1, I read the 5 issues, and then I watched episode 2. And like there's so much direct lines from the comic. And I'm like, it is a well-written comic. Like all the character stuff. Tiff being such a nerd about her freaking $49.99 without tax and batteries. Like I love that.
Something else I didn't like in the show because I'm just like, this just doesn't visually make sense, is the translation for the mutant teens. Is you're hearing it like it's coming through the translator.
But they're talking
hold it at one point, but visually they're saying the words.
Yeah. It should have been dubbed.
It should have been dubbed. They should have been saying some other nonsense. It didn't matter what.
Their mouth.
It didn't matter what. Like they could have said whatever and then transformed. It should be like translating them. But I see them. They're visually saying exactly what I'm hearing.
It's a bummer because like
It's just like not thought about.
It's a very sci-fi, like with fantasy element type of show, you know, dinosaurs and like cool translations and stuff. But like it's very just like, no, we're gonna be just science fiction. We can't have anything outside the realm of that. I'm like, well, it's and again, like not every comic has to directly adapt, but I feel like they're not including the things that you should include. Like that made the comic so cool. Like that the entire villain stuff, like that is half the reason I love that comic, and it's just missing in the show, which is just a bummer.
It might show up later.
I hope so.
There might be more of it later, especially with the old man.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard time believing they wouldn't include that character.
I miss the slang though. I really want the slang.
Yeah, I do wonder if they thought that might just be too hard for audiences to grasp.
It's a show about time travel, though. You can do it.
I think even like I do think the slang stuff is fun. I think even without that, just like if the teenagers at least didn't speak their language, because like it felt like a separation of knowledge and class with the teens and the white coats, to have them both speaking things the girls couldn't understand, but in different ways. And I think they've peeled away so many of the elements of like how jarring and weird what's happening to them is.
Yeah. Like they're allowing the mystery to happen, but everything that's like crazy surrounding it, they take it away.
Yeah.
Just to focus on the what's happening with the future. I'm like, yeah, but there's a lot more than that, isn't there?
I really like.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say just in episode 2, like this isn't a major spoiler. Like one of the villains is talking to with the teenager, and she's like, teenagers, you're all the same. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that kid looked like he's 30. I didn't know he was a teenager. It's just so like nonchalant, and they're just like, I'm evil to be evil. And I'm like, that's like boring. It's kind of boring.
There's an explanation to what is happening that's very Tenet, I'll say.
I like vibes.
And I'm intrigued by it, but it does kind of make everything seem a little less like comic, you know.
Comic, yeah.
Like it's so grounded sci-fi, whereas the comic is so bold sci-fi.
Yes.
But am I?
Oh, you just broke up.
Now go.
Now you're back.
Oh, I'm back.
Yep.
Okay. There's something at the end of episode 3 that I do hope kind of means that they're going to go for a more bonkers sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
I hope anyway.
I did I read a review of the whole season on a website, and it sounds like the entire show is kind of grounded, and that's.
But you know what? If the character stuff is good, I'll be there for grounded.
Oh yeah.
I just need the stuff that you're grounding also needs to be good.
Yes.
Right. It just needs to be good in a different way, because we talk about a lot about how adaptations don't have to be 1-to-1, but the thing that they're changing also has to be a good thing.
Yeah.
It has to be a good change, not a bad change. And at this point, like we talk about how the villains aren't a good change at this point in the show that we're at, but they could become one. And so that's something that I'm curious to see. So if it doesn't get more outlandish sci-fi, as long as that becomes a positive for the show, for the medium of this TV show, then I'll still be okay with it.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely gonna finish watching this season, because like I think our quartet of young actresses are really fun. Like I really enjoy watching them. Even when Mac is being a little too much. Like spitting image of Edward Furlong from Terminator 2. By the way.
Oh my god, I thought that too.
I was like, is this his kid or something? What's going on? Big T2 energy.
Yeah, that's a good
point.
point.
I like these kids a lot. It's just like if the villain is going to be this consistently like mediocre, it's going to be hard for me to care all the way to the end. So I hope it gets better.
Do you think they do the whole comic in this season? Because it's only 30 issues, and they've already blown past the first 5.
Do we have that? I know they haven't announced a second season. Have they said this is a 1-season thing, or is it just here's first?
It's just called Paper Girls Season 1.
Okay, I have a feeling,
because the other thing is like I don't see how you could get more than 3, but arguably 2, because you gotta get on it and while these girls are young, because it's all supposed to happen in like one night.
Yeah. Hell day.
Well, because like oh yeah, because they'd have to go back eventually, right?
Yeah.
I really like how they adapt KJ to the show. she's I think a standout. I think there's in the first episode I noticed that she might actually have like feelings from Mac.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah.
Which because you all picked up on that, it does get more explicit, and I'm glad to see that's something they really she's Jewish, possibly queer. Like I think all the changes that they made to her are a net positive to the show, because in the comic she's the three of them, like Tiff, Mac, and KJ, are very much all of the same. Like we attack people.
They are a team already.
Yeah.
I thought it was both a good and not a great choice with the show, I think, to have them all not know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the comic, like, Aaron's the only new one. I think that kind of benefited them, but it also makes the, like, how they fit together a little murky, just because of how quickly they're forced to go through it in the show context. I can get with it. I just question some of that change. Like, I think like Mac and KJ could have known each other better, at least, if not all three of them could have known each other before that night.
Well, I mean, like they all like, oh, you're the girl from this road, so like they all are aware of each other,
right? But I mean, in the comics, like they do this, they know each other.
Oh,
they do this, and Aaron is the new friend.
Yeah.
That being said, like it's I think it's fine for what the show's doing. Yeah, I think diversity in general, the diverse changes that they made for the show have benefited all of the characters.
Yeah. You went to the bathroom, but like in episode 2, there is like it's a very like it's just older Aaron and young Aaron talking for like an extended period of time, and that is my favorite from the 2 episodes. That is my favorite thing that I've seen from the first 2 seasons. Good episodes. So like, if I agree, Brandon. Like if it is a more grounded show, but all the character stuff still takes me through all the way, then I'm gonna really enjoy it. Yeah. I want the other half of the show to also meet it there.
Right.
Yeah.
I get you. I'm intrigued to watch more. I'm more intrigued to read more.
I'm definitely going to.
I probably won't for a while because I have all the books. I bought them when Comic Madness was doing their big pandemic sale.
Hell yeah.
We first locked in. And they're like, we need to sell a lot of books to stay in business. And I'm like, great. Oh, you got all Paper Girls for real cheap? All Paper Girls. But that's in storage. Yeah. So I'm probably going to read it later this year because I'm just going to wait and go through my books. But the show, we'll see. I might keep on that right now.
Let's go to the bathroom.
It's that time for everybody.
Oh, coffee time.
I'm probably gonna finish the show. I don't have a lot going on here this week, so probably just gonna be like, yeah, I've got COVID. Finish the show. And there's quick episodes too. Like the episodes are barely 40 minutes long.
Right. That's a good point.
I was really surprised by that, actually. How short the season is.
Yeah.
I also noticed that Amazon, we talked a little bit on our Comic-Con episode about like, Amazon's putting out some pretty good stuff. We really like The Boys, Invincible. I really like Marvel's Miss Maisel. They got The League of Their Own, which I think looks really good coming soon. Lord of the Rings. I think and then Invincible wasn't released all at once. It was released weekly. And I wonder if that's because they had more faith in Invincible than they did Paper Girls.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I feel like Amazon kind of just buried this show. Like,
yeah, but they also released all of The Boys when it first came out all at once.
That's true, but like the marketing around The Boys was pretty hot.
Yeah. And
this feels like we've watched it because of the show, but I don't feel like I've seen a lot of it. Like now that it's out, sure, it's one of the top recommended things for me to watch in my queue because I have Amazon Prime. But I'm like, the ramp up to this was not big.
No, it wasn't. I was surprised by that.
It feels honestly, I don't expect a second season, so I kind of hope they did the whole story in one because it feels like they don't expect to continue anything past this. Frankly, just the way that they've offered the material to us.
Well, I guess I'll know this week.
I was saying that I feel like Amazon's marketing push for the show kind of just like dropped it without really making a heavy push for people to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they have a lot of faith in it.
Yeah, and like I don't think it's a bad show whatsoever. I think it's pretty good, but like definitely after watching The Boys, and I'm like, oh, you could have given it a couple million more dollars, I bet.
And it's not even like because The Boys was pretty cheap when it first came out. Not like this cheap, but like it didn't have the budget it has now. And so that there's a sense of like you can do more. You can do more with less.
Yeah.
Perhaps they're just not using that budget the way they probably should. Probably should have. Those clouds don't look very good. That really takes you out of it.
Missed. Yeah. Basically.
That really
I
takes you
could
out.
make it. I can make
Just-
that sky. I've made that sky. Let's be honest. I've made that sky.
That's
Brandon's
true.
seen it.
I would get like, I know we never like rate shows we do this, but like I feel this is like a good like 7.5 around 8 range. Like it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. It's not hitting as hard as I wish it did because it's especially coming right from the comic.
Yeah.
But I think like if you're just like a general audience person, because again, 99% of people who are going to watch the show will not read the comic. So
yeah.
like I think there was enough there for the average person to really enjoy it. But I still think just the villain stuff is like they're not doing anything special with it when it originally was really special. Like those comic villains are really cool. And it's just like it just feels like, oh, we're just bad guys. And I hope it transcends that in the later episodes.
I think just like the main comp that you would make is like with Stranger Things, and it doesn't hit Stranger Things level.
Oh no,
in its execution.
not
on
at
the
all.
show.
Not at all. My guy, because I remember Christopher Cantwell was the showrunner for the show, and then he dropped out of it for creative reasons, but he still did write a bunch of the episodes, and he's executive producer. So his hands are in it, but not all the way in it. And I'm like, what happened, Chris?
Most of the directors and writers are women, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because they the current showrunner talked about how she wanted to give like this coming of age sci-fi show to girls, and I think there's some value in that.
Absolutely.
I know Zara blew through the entire season already.
Nice.
She loved it.
Cool.
So I think it is hitting. Perhaps it's hitting the target demographic the way it's meant to.
Mhm.
But I can't say for sure.
Yeah, I think even if I watch this on its own without the comic, I still would feel the villains are a little lacking. But like, man, those girls are so talented. Like they're the reason to watch the show for sure.
I think even if I watched the show, this first episode, without the context of the comic, I still would have felt like it was rushing that first episode.
Yeah.
I do too.
But I'm intrigued to watch more. I don't think it's bad.
No.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I have quite honestly, I have no strong opinions about either the book, the comic, or the show. It just kind of depends on like which one I'm going to keep going with, because both have intrigued me to keep going, to like almost like a desire to formulate an opinion on this.
Sure.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, that'll do.
That'll do her.
Anything else, guys, you want to bring up before we get out of here?
No.
Cliff Chang is an incredible artist. Looking at that book was a treat.
Oh yeah. Art in Paper Girls is really good.
Okay, so next week, Sandman, Prey, Bullet Train, they, them.
It's Prey. I can tell you right now, it's Prey.
Well, I was going to suggest we actually do Sandman, because if Ben isn't going to be on it, we could do Prey as a review special.
I don't want to commit to watching a bunch of episodes of a TV show and do
wouldn't be wait. It wouldn't be a bunch of episodes. Don't say that. It'd probably be one.
Okay.
But that was a suggestion I was going to have. But if we'd rather do Prey, it quite honestly doesn't matter to me.
We can discuss this off the podcast.
All right, so stay tuned for that. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, friends.
If you like this video and you subscribe to this channel, you can get all sorts of content on this channel, such as Fake Nerds Watch, which is our television show, after show, whatever. New episodes of Stranger Things, Strange New Worlds, The Boys, and Miss Marvel are up, and new episodes of different shows will be coming soon, so stay tuned. Basement Arcade has a new episode of Mortal Kombat X, Part 4. Penultimate, I hear. Basement Arcade Pause Menu did Kingdom Hearts with Alyssa Roca. That's a video game discussion series, all of which are linked below. and you can find them here, as well as Fake Nerd Book Club and Animation Station. Again, if you like this video and you subscribe to our channel, check out our Patreon or our TeePublic if you'd like to support us financially. You can find all our links on our website at fakenerdpodcast.com, which is also linked below. Thank you to everyone who listens. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who watches us. Thank you
Bye,
to
Mag.
everyone. Oh, yes, Megan's in the chats.
You the real MVP.
Take care, gang. Stay safe. Same to you, sir. Oh, I missed Mint Blyce. Hello.
Hello. Goodbye.
Thank you to everyone who watches the rewind. Thank you to everyone who watches the live show. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci, who did all the music that you heard today, and all the music for all of our shows. You can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards. Or you can find his podcast, Suburban Proctologist, on iTunes or facebook.com/suburbanproctologistofficial. Our Instagram at Subproc Podcast. Thank you to Mike Matola. Mike Matola has an episode in the description below. Just released a new print, How to Train Your Dragon. And you can find him on Instagram and TikTok on at Mike Matola. Grayson live in the chat as well says, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day. Get well, Brandon. Thank you, sir. I hope so too, because I miss my home. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. I also write for Screen Rant, Atomic Geekdom, and KaiDramaMedia.com. Ryan?
Hey, you could find me in the Multiverses Arena at DJ Tony Snark 616.
Sparks.
You can find me catching up with all the sharks on Shark Week at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPRKZ Witty.
You can find Ben Magnet, who is not here, at BenMagnet27 on Instagram and Twitter, or is writing at Go Nintendo, Fusion Gaming Magazine, or there's a third one, right?
Go Nintendo, Fusion, and
Old School Gaming Magazine.
Old School Gamer, OSG.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Podcasts, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to our channel. Until next time you see us, guys, stay fake nerds.